Nope, told you not to start.
You did tell me not to start.
I told you not to start.
I said don't start until we had everyone in. Then we decided, oh shit, we can't. Oh fuck, it's starting. It's starting. Okay,
do we have everyone in? Let's hope we do, because everyone's listening now.
Are they though?
Well, eventually, you know.
Eventually, except for those You call it Operation Anchorage? Really?
Yes, because I'm reconquering Alaska from the zebra commies, the zebra Chinese. This is
yeah.
Reconquista, bitch.
Nope, the Zebra Dick Chronicles was better.
Don't worry, you'll have time to fuck around next week when I'm gone. So,
we have a surprise Scabold here. He was not meant to be here, and our lovely friend Featherscratch went and slaved over art, and Scabold was like, "No, I don't want. I'm just gonna arrive."
Yeah. Pretty much.
Featherscratch made some good art, Sky.
He did. It is very pretty.
You'll have to wait for next week to see what what our art looks like.
We have some supplementary art that he's created for us as well. We will mark it this week, so that was fun.
What?
Yes.
I haven't seen this. Come on.
Okay.
And so the podcast has begun. We only have one person watching, though. What the fuck?
We have 2 people watching. Go fuck yourself.
It says one person on my screen, and my screen's more reliable than yours because it's me. Oh, 2 now. Now it's 2. Now it is 2 people.
Mine is more reliable because your internet is shit living in Down Underland.
I run a 20 meg line.
A 20 meg line?
Yeah, I'm on fiber.
I like how he says that like it's a good thing. It's so fun. But no.
What? That's like ridiculously fast.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
He sounded so confused. He's like, wait, what?
I'm sorry. I am a bit judgy relative to we do have some good internet out here. Damn California. It's not
you're in California. So that doesn't count.
Portland was supposed to pilot the Google Fiber, okay?
Oh yeah. Google Fiber, Harry carried itself.
Oh, dude, I don't want the Google Fiber because I'm so used to my Comcast, and so they pulled the plug.
Oh, no. I am so excited. There is a new company out here that isn't Comcast, and I am switching over that shit as soon as possible. And they have fiber, and they're talking about going gigabit in, like, the next year or 2, which is fucking awesome. So, fuck off, Comcast. I'm leaving you as soon as I get the chance. But I gotta wait until all my damn business trips are done first, because it's too chaotic, so...
Careful, though, because what will probably happen is that everyone's going to switch over to that... Everyone's going to switch over to that new... that new company.
That's fine.
And they're going to get...
Whatever punishes Comcast.
That's fucking... That happened to us over here, because we all... Because you all had to run off telecom, and then AfriHost came by with their, competence and... good customer service, and then everyone jumps onto them, and they
service.
Fucking that was like the thing was that like Telcom's customer service is. I mean, it's like what you'd expect from your fucking Comcast or AT&T.
Comcast.
I'm sorry. What's the internet called, Vermont?
What?
What's our internet called?
Comcast.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't need to live in America to know about the horror stories about your guys' internet as well.
Yeah, that's because Comcast is a pretty much de facto monopoly at this point, which is disgusting and totally illegal merging with frickin' NBC Universal, which is also bullshit, but anyway.
Now, Telcom in South Africa is an actual monopoly.
That's even worse.
I went to Best Buy, right? Best Buy to get a new charger for my phone.
Yeah.
And this dude comes up to me and he goes, "So who's your internet provider?" And I was just like, "Comcast." And he goes, "Oh, how do you like it?" I fucking hate it. And he's just like, "I'm so sorry to hear that. What happened?" And I'm like, "Fuck your customer service. Like, I'm sure you're a cool dude. You seem like a nice gentleman, but fuck your customer service."
That's always the hard part.
No, I hear that complaint a lot. Yeah. I understand.
You try to be nice to the individual, like, you know, the line worker, but you're like, you know, I'm sure you're a great person, but the company at all is very fucked.
And then, like, I started telling him about, like, he's like, how much do you pay for internet? And I'm like, $70 a month. He goes, whoa!
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I thought I was going down to 60, and now I'm paying 90 for some reason, so I'm like, nope, not anymore.
So... Fucking, everything is on fire.
Everything is on fire. That's the thing. Everyone's all paying attention to the hurricanes, and I'm over here just like, yeah, I'm just hoping we don't burn to death.
You know, real talk, like, there was a fire maybe 10 minutes from my house. Like, we were at evac 2, which basically means get ready to leave.
Yeah. Yeah,
oh,
everyone forgets that the entire, like, Cascadia, Jefferson, like, Pacific Coast region, it's all these giant fucking redwood trees, which are great, but it's like, when one of those dies, that is a giant piece of kindling. And because the state is so dry, we're so non-humid, even off the ocean, that shit falls, and it's just ripe for fire. So... Yeah, that's basically what's going on now. Is they're all burning up.
Yeah, we're gonna die.
Yeah.
So if I die, write me a nice eulogy, which means
will not be...
you're not allowed to write it because your spelling is purpose.
Oh my god.
My spelling is. Shut up.
Who wrote this?
Not that bad.
Be
Who
nice.
wrote this?
English. He's writing in. I'm sorry. I was gonna make a pigeon English joke.
Legends of Equestria launched today.
Did it really?
I have not been able to get in at all because their servers are that fucking full.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a couple of days.
Yeah, well, I've been trying to get in because I figured, hey, it'd be kind of cool to jump into it in the podcast and call people from the live chat, say, hey, come join us. You know, we'll fucking run around while we bullshit in the podcast.
That's why I'm saying I'm giving it a couple of days. You know, it's easier to just give it a couple of days and then let people hop in.
Yeah, we'll have to. So
Maybe next week.
Sunday we'll do that during the podcast. Because hopefully by then most of the other people will have got bored with them. But I'm disappointed. I was hoping about going in and then, you know, and then immediately searching out whatever storytelling they have and finding a way to be mean about their writing.
Nice.
It's what I do.
Nice.
9% of this podcast is complaining.
Question.
Yo.
What's our subscriber count at?
I think we're 11428 or something.
No, we didn't get any more followers.
What? I don't know. We've done fairly well. Like, it's actually kind of funny that I think as in like the week after Confessions came out, I was expecting a much larger jump up in terms of subscribers, and then like 2 to 3 weeks after Confessions came out, then the subscriber count started going up. So
yeah, I think it's like a slow burn.
I think it took everyone 2 to 3 weeks to finish the 4.5 hour audio drama that you wrote.
That too. I
haven't even finished it.
You know what's funny is I'm more proud of this than like The Engineer. I think this is a much more like direct, more fluid story, personally. But
I definitely. I think it's a stronger story.
Mostly, it's the time convention because you've got one section where it's like you got 6 months compressed into a very fluid arc, and then you have like 2 days compressed into a very fluid arc. Versus, you know, definitely The Engineer was much more like jump and jump and jump and jump.
Okay.
So, yo,
and come out. Shut your faces. Let the patrons talk.
Hi, patrons. You want to contribute?
They're welcome to talk whenever. Yeah.
Yeah, they know the rules of the podcast. If they want to
steamroll relentlessly.
I do not. This is open conversation.
Exactly. Rules of the podcast are very simple. If you want to talk, start talking, and pray that you can talk louder than everyone else in the podcast.
That's a shit show. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's a shit
show. How it
show,
works in real life.
Doing quite well lately.
Except
in real life, I am the loudest.
All right, so what was Skybot saying before he was so rudely interrupted?
That too. It doesn't matter. I can't remember now.
Oh shit! It was Confessions. We were talking about the Confessions arcing.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
About Confessions on the last podcast.
I tried to, but then I got a lot of cranky snapbacks and then no real questions, so we just kind of moved on past that.
Wait, was it me who got cranky?
Podcast getting salty.
Yeah.
Was it me who got cranky?
I've stopped downloading podcasts in general because I don't re-listen to them anymore either. So it's yeah.
Well, you spend straight hours like editing them. I'm sure you're sick of it.
No, I just like do a quick cut, in like 3s or 4s or whatever in the normal sense, and then I don't need them as much on the road anymore either, so that's sort of passed. But it's like, yeah, pay attention to me. Oh yeah, we should look at the chat room too. Hello, Feather Scratch. Yeah. We can go back to fan art. So let me put up this.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Scratchy did the fan art for us this week. Well, 3 pieces, but we can't show you the third till the next podcast.
Wait, we got 3 pieces of fan art?
We got 3 pieces.
Yeah.
We got 2 pieces that we're going to show today, and then the third is the episode 26 cover art.
The first one is our mascot robot from the Engineer, which is Ultramarine. She needs the ID, please. I can has ID, please.
Oh, we got to wait for 2. We got to wait for the stream to catch up.
Yeah, I know. We just talk and wait for it to show up on screen.
Multipass.
There we go.
We've got our fan art of Ultramarine. She
very adorable.
She wants your ID, otherwise, she's gonna have to kill you.
Yeah. Yeah. Eventually, we'll get more and more art of them produced with Canon accurate wings and the little tail electric prod thingy, which is always fun, and that'll be a good time.
The wings kind of
like Feather Scratch's art is so cute. It looks like so chibi, and I love it.
Yeah. And then, besides that, then we had this little like camouflage Ultramarine, absolutely level one super camo.
Oh god, I love the camo the camo Ultramarine art. She's doing her best to sneak.
I can see you. No, you can't.
Yeah, sneak.
You might need to change the background because you can't really see what she's responding.
Yeah, I'd find the best I could there. Oh, let me see here.
Yeah, I love. I can kind of imagine that just before.
Shit.
I can kind of imagine that in this scene, Ultramarine's kind of also narrating herself. Sneak.
Sneak. No, you can't.
She's like Kronk. She's got the theme song.
Oh god.
As she's going.
And then also, I'm not sure if we've done it on the podcast yet, but we got this awesome fan art of SFM. I think I said that right?
Oh yeah, the SFM fan art of Duchess Rose Petal. Yeah,
yes, and Maricello, which is so cool. Yeah. I just love the effort put into this and the angle of the shot. It's very
that, by the way.
It's a butt angle.
It is a butt angle.
Who did that?
I actually forget. I don't know if I knew the name.
You can't forget. You gotta know because you gotta give credit to the artist.
Well, that's actually not hard because we have such few fan art that all I need to type in is Fallout Equestria Confessions fan art, and it will be one of the first things that pops up because we have all of 3 pieces of fan art made of us
so far.
Sweet.
It is very nice, though. I very much appreciate it. I gotta go back to listen to that. It's been a while since I listened to some of the old ones. I'll have to do it before finishing up scripting for Confession 7 and 8, because, yeah, that'll matter.
No, I can't actually hear you.
Oh, shit. For a moment, I forgot we had patrons in the podcast again.
I told you. Oh, my God.
Nope, I don't remember Needle telling us anything. In fact, I think this is the first time Needle's also speaking in the podcast. Hi, Needle.
I agree.
Yeah, right?
Fuck you both.
Makes me feel
the crowd
really
of the podcast.
Really,
yeah, I see someone's suggestion that it would be great to have an SFM animation of Horror of Maricello, the song. I agree. That would be fantabulous.
Oh my god, right.
Yes. I was very, very proud of that because we had the organ piece, but I'm like, I need a little lead-in, because I'd done that with a lot of the early Stapletech songs, was a little dramatic lead-in, and I think it turned out fun, so. Fudge. Yeah, so that's that.
Speaking of SFMs, has anyone seen Argo Damon's new SFM for Australia?
Wait, he did a new piece?
Yeah, for
Shit.
I didn't know that either.
No, I didn't know he'd done a new piece yet. Oh my god, I actually got into Legends of Equestria.
Oh my
the
gosh.
American service to have vacancies, so people should jump in if they do. Yay, I can abuse some writing. Or, shit talk people's hard work. Because, I'm a terrible person.
Yeah, so it's like an RPG, right? We're talking like Skyrim and whatnot? Witcher
I
kind of thing?
I think so. I've never actually played it before.
I played the beta. You basically just run around and interacting with other people as a
Second
I
Life.
remember being super grumpy because you can't because they didn't include patterns to character bodies, so I couldn't make a zebra.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember that actually kind of annoying me a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, even the very first, whatchamacallit, General Zoe pony generator had zebra stripes.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, shitpost adorably.
Those
That
are the
would fit
days.
well in here.
Oh, yeah, we used shitpost adorably quite a lot in the last.
Yeah,
So somebody's
because
saying Needle
Rumi's
needs
the element of bands.
Alright, so apparently I need to get out the club and beat you guys again.
For what?
I don't know, that's what Wendy said.
Oh, okay.
And she's like, I think Needle needs to get out the club.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that piece of fan art.
Yeah, which we also quite happily showed off in our last episode.
No! Shit.
Shitposting absolutely can be adorable. Shitposting is just the cutest little thing, especially when people are not good at it.
Shitposting is an art form.
It is an art form.
All right, cool. It's not made a character. Character's called Totally Not Vermont.
Of course it is.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, are there any updates from the Overmare Studios? Like, I know they had like that alpha build from a few months back.
No updates from them recently. Although I haven't really been following the game development scene that much. Oh shit, I'm already in.
Yeah,
and I'm running around.
No, I know.
Wow,
They've released some like music and stuff too, and I don't know. I've been out of the loop on the rest of the Fallout Equestria fandom for a while. Like, I know Equestrian Broadcasting seems kind of defunct at this point.
They have been dead for like 2 years now, which is a shame because the audio dramas they produced were genuinely good. Like,
yeah. Quality.
Fucking their sound editor really new as shit.
Yeah, it was, what was it? Episode 3 and 4 came out pretty quickly back to back, which I thought was like a new pacing that might happen. I think it was like a 4-month gap, but that was probably their like final surge.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Pardon?
I said it's a shame about Equestria Broadcasting.
I agree. No, I love their stuff. I remember before they were a formal radio play thing when they just did the little segments, the little bits. Those were actually really good, and I think they ended up rolling them all into episode 1 or something. But that was neat. This is a good part of the fandom.
So, Vermont, you never said, do they have patterns now?
No, they do not have patterns now.
Ugh.
Also, I can't make my character stop sitting down. Why? This is why I made my character sit down, and now
Fuck.
He's stuck sitting down.
Yeah, if you're talking now, Baron, I'm not sure if we can hear you. someone will revive EBC. I mean, in a way, the Equestrian Broadcasting, that was one of the things that gave me an idea to do, like, a radio play as an option, as, like, one of our productions. Because remember, Stable Tech was very, especially early on, was very animation-only focused because it was created by Tyler Teschke. Animation was his end-all, be-all thing. So everything we did was an animation, including the Nuclear Winter Wonderland, which was really only, like, half done. I still never get over that, how, like, I didn't know, like, he wasn't doing the whole song until later, and so then when it came out, I'm like, you missed the happy ending, because there is a happy ending, and, you know, all the bitter people in the chat are like one thing or another, but, yeah, that's why I was really glad I released this last Christmas a back-to-back of the full audio special of both of the things, so people could hear them as I intended them anyway.
Yeah, what it was actually supposed to be. Well, minus the inclusion of the animation part. Because
the action scenes and oh my god.
Suck in a deep breath, Skybolt.
So, yeah, no, it was funny, actually. I was looking through just old videos in general yesterday when I was writing, and old music, to like the old original, whatchamacallit, Dr. Dissonance music for Fallout Equestria. Just, you know, when I'm in the writing process, nostalgia is great to, like, get all the brain cells churning.
Okay. Wow, this game is not quite as... it's alright.
Yeah, I mean, that's the tricky thing, and this is one thing I'm actually hoping. You know, as terrible as now they're rolling out the Bethesda Creative Studio or whatever the fuck it's called, it's like maybe that would be an opportunity for things like Fallout Brazil, which I guess is now being called New California, or, like, you know, kind of bigger sub-games like that to really get done, and Fallout Equestrian stuff. That would be great if that's a possibility for the bigger. You know, it's still annoying. I still wish we had more DLC and another game, you know, at least signaled on the horizon, but that's the only thing I hope can come of their creative thing, is, like, larger productions get faster and better and whatnot.
Yeah, and it just got booted from the server. Good job.
Rip.
Great.
From what I've heard about the Creation Club is that each of the files don't even have enough instances or scripts. They're not big enough to handle large projects.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I got an advertisement for it, and it's like, do you want to try out a new gun? And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, this is some novel thing. It's like, I've had gun mods for the last 2 years on Xbox, and everyone else has had gun mods for the last 10 years on, you know, on PC Master Race. And I'm like, I love how they're trying to market it like it's some new magical thing. It's like, fuck you guys. Come on.
Yeah, no, they're giving us something that half of us have already had, and they're trying to charge us for it.
Yeah, that's Todd's whole modus operandi at this point. Like, I'm still waiting for the Nintendo Switch version of Skyrim, which is going to be amazing. Skyrim version 8, boys and girls.
You know, that's one of the things I love.
There's only a few.
It's weird how much
there's only me.
There's only a few.
Oh.
There are no girls on the internet.
No girls allowed.
It's weird how much the internet has turned against Skyrim, though. Like, even from a statement of quality. Like, I recently did a run through Skyrim.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, you know, people are so ready to shit talk Skyrim as a game now, and it's kind of like, no, like, yes, they've been shoving it down our throats, but from an objective standpoint, Skyrim is an excellent fucking game. Like, when it came out, we all agreed that, like, fucking, like, is the story particularly interesting? No. Are the quests particularly interesting? But it's a fun fucking sandbox to fuck around with. Especially
it is, and like, especially if you add different mods to it, like, you have so many possibilities with both Skyrim and Fallout, you know, adding mods to them if you have, you know, #PC Master Race, but still.
Exactly, and then So it is kind of, I do kind of feel sorry for the game in that sort of sense, that everyone is now, well, not everyone, but a lot of people on the internet are starting to turn against Skyrim, and it's probably because they have been shoving it down our throats. I don't understand, Bethesda can't keep trying to sell us Skyrim. Everyone already owns Skyrim on multiple platforms.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I was never an Elder Scrolls person in general. Like, I tried Oblivion back when I first got my 360, but it didn't do anything for me. It's like, it's the setting, it's the story, it's not the same, even if it's the same mechanic for me. So then I saw Skyrim, and a lot of it is just, it's too dark. There's not enough, like all the menus are like thin white text on black backgrounds and everything, and I'm like, it doesn't do anything for me. Like, Fallout still has that zany color that I like in my entertainment, so.
Oh yeah, Fallout's definitely a much stronger game and universe than Skyrim.
Yeah.
I mean, than the Elder Scrolls
No,
series.
just call it Skyrim. That's all they're doing. It's not the Elder Scrolls anymore. It's just Skyrim.
But the problem is that it doesn't help that what Bethesda has done with the Elder Scrolls series or with Skyrim is a lot better than what Bethesda has done with Fallout.
In terms of what, supporting it?
Well, not just in terms of supporting it, just in the actual game they've created. Like, even on a gameplay perspective, I've started to dislike Fallout 4. Mm-hmm. The game just has kind of got to a point where it is just annoying me. If I want to do settlement building, I will go play fucking Minecraft. If I want to do competent gunplay, I will go play this. If I know I'm not going to go into a big fucking rant about this because I've ranted about Fallout 4 too many goddamn times on this fucking podcast, but
there's actually a Fallout mod on Minecraft, like a mod pack that you can get.
Yeah.
Well, they released an official. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's officially released. I was fooling around with it a little bit, and like, it's actually kind of cool. Like, they have all the settlements and everything, but it could be better.
Fucking yeah, no, they. Oh god, the problem with them fucking with Fallout is that if you look at the legacy of what Fallout is, it is one of the most important steps that was taken for computer role-playing games, and then to take that and then turn it into a non-RPG is really, really stupid.
Yeah, Fallout has like 2 centuries of really solid, deep lore built into it also, and I feel like the creation of the Elder Scrolls saga in general just doesn't have those legs. And the simple stuff too, like the music. Like, I've listened to the Elder Scrolls soundtracks, and they're pretty good. I mean, but they're not better than, for instance. Well, I think the problem with the Elder Scrolls is that the fantasy genre is actually very dense. I mean, besides the modern, everything's Game of Thrones now. That's like the pop. That's like the top 40 pop hits version of fantasy genre, I know. But even before that, then you had Lord of the Rings, and then the very successful Lord of the Rings movies. And it's like, it's hard to compete with all that, whereas really, like, something like Fallout doesn't really exist in a lot of other media. Like, you have the occasional World War III movie, but it's all set at World War III. It's all set in that situation room with the bombs and stuff.
Yeah. And then even when you go and do a post-apocalyptic story, and there are a fuckload of post-apocalyptic stories around, no one does it like Fallout. It is its own thing.
No, you either have the...
To be fair, Bethesda did make some great improvements. Because the soundtrack and adding a lot more of that genre of music all throughout the game, and adding the radio stations and the DJs, that was all Bethesda. That wasn't in the original games, and that's that's become one of the most iconic Fallout things, aspects of the game series now.
Yeah, because the original games, they just had the 1 or 2, right? Like, Fallout 1 had the maybe opening, and then the Kiss to Build a Dream on.
Exactly. So they didn't have as much of the Americana aesthetic. Like, they had some of it, but they parodied that. They fell a lot more into the Mad Max vibe, whereas Bethesda pulled less Mad Max and more Americana, which worked. So it's not like everything Bethesda did was a complete fuck up. I mean, Fallout. If you just look at what Fallout 3 did, essentially, that is my perfect Fallout game.
Oh man, I owe a decade of my interest in this series to Fallout 3. I mean, hell, I never knew about it beforehand because I wasn't a PC gamer back in the day.
But I mean, obviously everyone's favorite is usually New Vegas.
Oh,
New Vegas is a great game.
New Vegas is God.
Exactly, but I prefer Fallout 3.
New California Republic, bitches. No, you know what I was going through too is all the old soundtracks too, which of course Mark Morgan music of Fallout 1 and 2 is beautiful in its own ways, and like it's significantly different than Eno and Xur in my opinion. But a good like middle ground is actually Fallout Tactics. That soundtrack, even though it's Eno and Xur, I think Mark Morgan still did a lot of like soundtrack support or whatever. So it sounds like a good blend of both sides. If you like both artists, check out the Tactics soundtrack.
I've always said that I prefer Fallout 3, but that New Vegas is objectively better.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it's a good way of looking at it.
Although, I like all three of them for different reasons, yeah.
New Vegas' levels design can go eat a dick, though.
Yeah, no, I totally agree on that.
Right?
The fact that you have to go through 4 or 5 doors to get to your suite on the top of the damn Lucky 38 with all your people, I'm like, no, I'm not going to go through that. Like, that was one thing Fallout 4, simple lessons, so when you want to go to the damn railroad, you don't have to truck down the North Church, you know, all the little hallways and stuff. You just fast travel directly into the room where everyone is, and fast travel right back out. If they had done that in New Vegas, it would have been a significantly better game.
But then it's also just like fucking so oh my god, trying to do so that quest that the king gives you right at the beginning where you've got to follow that one dude who's escorting people up the strip.
Yeah.
And so in order to complete that quest, you've got to leave the king's hideout, so that's one loading screen, then go to the then go to Freeside, then go to Outer Freeside, which is, so there's your second loading screen. Then back into like Inner Freeside with the dude, that's your third loading screen. Then back to the king.
All right, somebody's like, mic is freaking out.
That might be Baron trying to connect.
Yeah. Back to Inner Freeside. Back to Outer Freeside, then Inner Freeside, then the key. That's 8 loading screens for a 20-minute quest.
No, I know. And all of Freeside should be one area.
Right? And I don't understand why they didn't... and they had the technology. I mean, that's the same... I mean, what, fucking 2 years later, on the same engine, we got Skyrim. That is... They had the technology to make, to have all of Freeside be in that one area. I'm not quite sure why they didn't.
Yeah, like, I don't know how the game engine works on a technical level, but, like, you have the extent of the wasteland, and I know it, like, auto-generates and then auto-breaks down things in the distance, so, like, it gets more detailed the closer you get to it, but it's like, when you're within Freeside, why can't it be the same thing, you know, it's just a smaller area with walls. I really don't understand that. There's really not a lot going on in Freeside, and then if you want to go inside the Silver Rush or the Atomic Wrangler, it's another loading screen anyway, so what the fuck? And I feel like it was almost a shortcut. Like that was something they had to do in order to get the game out faster or something. I don't know.
It was it was so ridiculously silly. It was, though to be fair, I think something I think some credit does have to go to Bethesda that it, or rather, we often forget about the fact that all the basics of what Obsidian had to work with New Vegas was already kind of there because they took a lot. They've started with the foundations already having been built by Bethesda in Fallout 3. The technology they used their technology that was already there, which I think helped them a lot. And we kind of all forget about that.
Yeah, it feels like more lessons should be learned with each iteration. And it feels like only half the lessons get learned each time, which is frustrating.
And then usually there's at least 1 or 2 steps back.
Yeah. Yeah, and Fallout 4, I think the ultimate summation of Fallout 4's problems is when you try to please everybody, you end up pleasing nobody.
Right?
And
so just stick to your original audience.
Yeah. Like, I'll be honest, there's a lot of great, like, end-of-the-war stuff in Fallout 2 that they could have expanded more on, like, when you find all these Defense Intelligence Agency, like, you know, little dumps and stuff, that could have been a whole much larger storyline. Or even in Far Harbor, the whole story of the guy didn't have the nuclear key, so you couldn't send out the USS Democracy, the submarine, to defend the East Coast. That's like a huge plot point that they could have made its own game. I don't know why they didn't.
Yeah, no, it was. I never liked the idea of them doing the Institute anyway. Like, I remember, I was not excited for them going with that sort of angle because just them working with the paranoia of there being all of these hidden robots scattered across the wasteland. You know, that's a very, very big story to tell. You've got to have your writing team be very, very focused, and Bethesda doesn't have a focused writing team.
No.
That's like the weakness of Bethesda games is their writing, and which is a shame because they could have done something really excellent with the Institute by having, by having every single, even down into the smallest of side quests. You layer in the paranoia and the utter fear that has come out of the Institute being there. There is almost always the shadow hiding over you, and over the entirety of the wasteland. So you push that as hard as you can, but to help immerse the player, to focus them on the idea that this is the thing that they have to tackle.
Yeah, it feels like they were hinting at. I'm sorry. It
also kind of addresses the major problem of the fact that everyone always the joke about the fact that it's like you are rushing to go find your son, but first you're going to do all of these side quests beforehand, and it feels so jarring to sort of prioritize all these silly things over saving your own flesh and blood. But if all of these side quests had some sort of relation or had the connection to the Institute or just had a connection to the fear of the Institute, it would feel like those side quests are all still serving the purpose of trying to find your son.
Yeah, like, it feels like the whole plot with the Arcadia was that too, where, they're like, yeah, this existential crisis of convincing all these impressionable youths, like, oh, you could be a synth, like, the reason you feel sad sometimes is because you're a robot. It's like, that's actually very similar to, like, cult-like behavior. That would have been a really interesting, like, plot point, but I don't know, they kind of took it, like, literally, like, oh, yeah, no, that they were, like, really synths. Like, there should have been a whole section where it's like, nope, you're not a synth. Like, no, you're not a synth either. It's like you're kind of, like, drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit too deep here with this robot guy who's also a murderer.
Right. It honestly would have been so... I kind of like to imagine what would have happened if Westworld came out before Fallout 4 started writing. Like, or rather, if Bethesda decided that they were only going to do the Institute storyline in Fallout 5. And how much do you think the game storyline would have changed if we were living in a post-Westworld TV show world, Because that's essentially the same story that they did there, just without the thingy.
You know what they should make? What kind of post-apocalyptic game they should do?
Yeah.
Waterworld.
Oh my gosh. Waterworld is actually a very sad story because even though it was a total like nightmare for Hollywood, you know, bookies, all the finance people, I actually really like the concept. I hope they remake that someday, you know, CG and stuff. You could make that so interesting.
You could probably do something you could probably do something fairly cool with that. But
I mean, you think about what if you had just a few tiny island nations. You've got, like, the Kilimanjaro colony. You've got the Mount Everest colony. You know, all these big peaks everywhere. And they're essentially, like, just these little tiny archipelagos that then, like, you know, get to each other and fight over this very, very limited land resources. Like, that could be really neat.
I'm like, if you like pirate shows, it would be great.
Yeah, too bad Pirates of the Caribbean used up all that goodwill.
You could have like some mutated humans and shit, not like the ones with the gills, but like full on like
heck yeah,
fucking creepy ass mermaid people. Like they want to rip your face off.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we could have the real mermaids and then the hot mermaids.
Well, I guess there's technically no such thing as a hot mermaid because the salt water would cause their skin to like swell and deform, and they would be bald, and they'd probably be really fat because of all of the water that their skin absorbs.
They'd be bloated. They'd be blue, with a bit of purple. They'd be God no. They'd be.
You know what else we could have? Crab people.
Let's just have, you know what, fucking man-bear pigs. We're gonna have man-bear pigs.
Oh, hell yeah. I like how in Fallout 4 they kind of like retcon the like Mirelurk King / Lake Lurks, because those are like this like creature of the Black Lagoon looking things with no real backstory. It's just like, yeah, these are like fish people. And then in Fallout 4 they're like, okay, that was kind of dumb. Let's make them lobsters.
Mirelurks always fucking and that was like kind of one of those things I did quite like about Fallout 4 was that those fucking those Mirelurks are fucking hard to fight. They are not fucking around.
Yeah, Fallout 4 needed more big enemies, like the Mirelurk Queens and Behemoths. Like, I mean, why is that just those two? We could have, like, a whole cadre of different, like, giant creatures, or just one-offs, even. Like in New Vegas, of course. Like in New Vegas, when you'd find, like, the Queen Rad Scorpion in the fire station, things like that. Like, I don't know. They kind of have that stuff, but it's like, I don't know. It feels like they could do that way more.
Yeah. I think maybe it's probably a good thing that Fallout 4 wasn't as successful and universally loved as something like Skyrim was, because could you also imagine the next 6 years of being force-fed different 8 iterations of Fallout 4?
Yeah, they're already doing that. We have VR Fallout 4 coming up, which I think VR is already passing away. Like, it already seems like everyone's like, it's like 3D movies where everyone's like, okay, the gimmick's kind of getting boring now, but they're going to keep hammering it because the gimmick makes them money on, you know, oodles of money.
I don't know, like, having fucked around with VR, it's... You just need developers who are actually developing shit properly for VR, which is why I don't like what Bethesda's done.
No, with the ports, no.
Especially the worst one is Doom.
Yeah. Because
Doom relies on you being able to move as fast as possible and have complete control.
Yeah, like old-fashioned FPS, like 90s FPSs.
Exactly. You can't play Doom with VR, or Skyrim, or Fallout 4. But especially not fucking Doom. So, like, if you look at some of the games that have been made...
child!
What?
I hear a child.
I hear a baby.
Oh, yeah. That's my sister.
Hello!
You should not be listening to this.
Oh.
Dude, his sister's so fucking cute.
James is corrupting his siblings.
Ben's a butthole, but he's so cool with him on.
Come say hello, Aurelia.
Aurelia!
She's getting shy.
Aww.
So you So I actually haven't spoken about this yet because it only happened between the last podcast and this one. But my little sister got hold of the scissors.
Oh no!
Did she cut her
Oh
hair?
no.
So her entire fringe is gone.
Oh my god.
So like, oh no, it's.
Scratchy, it can't be wee baby Vermont. It's his
Oh,
sister.
did she cut off the sides of her hair? So she hasn't learned her fucking lesson.
Oh my gosh.
No, okay, real talk. When I was a kid, my parents, so I cut my hair off when I was maybe Aurelia's age. And it was just my bangs, or as Vermont calls it, fringe.
As the world calls it, fringe.
I cut them off. And so my mom, she decided to give me a crew cut, like a boy,
Oh.
and call me Kevin until my hair grew out.
Oh, that's fucking great. We should do that to Aurelia, Dad.
Okay. That's something.
Cut off
So-
her hair and refer to her as a dude.
So when I got my hair, when I was old enough to decide that I wanted to get my hair cut, I believe I was maybe 14. And I decided what hairstyle I wanted to do on my own. So I went to the hair place or whatever and got a haircut. And I got this pixie cut because I was tired of having really long hair and I wanted a break. And in California it's really hot, so might as well get something shorter. And with that pixie cut, my mom continued to call me Kevin.
Oh my
Even
gosh.
though I was like, and I'm like, really, Mom?
So I assume we're just gonna call you Kevin from now on.
Don't call me Kevin.
Yeah.
So so Kevin Stitch or just is it Kevin Stitch or is it just Kevin?
It should just be Kevin.
Don't call me
It's just-
Kevin.
if it's
I will literally come to South Africa and kill you.
I mean that's not gonna be cheap.
It won't be cheap.
You know what? But it's fine because then I can just go somewhere where they don't extradite and it's fine.
Actually, right nearby is French Réunion? I don't think they extradite.
There you go. I'll just go right there. Fine.
I don't know. Is South Africa an extradition country? No clue. You can always just stay out here after you murder me.
Is South Africa a country?
Fuck you. But seriously though, is South Africa a country?
Well, it was like kind of 5 countries early on.
Yeah, not really. You're thinking of provinces.
Okay. Protectorates. Oh my gosh.
Like, so Scratchy's gonna draw Stitch with a
Pixie cut. All right, here we go.
Yeah. Okay, what did we? Yeah.
My mom is not a brilliant troll, Sam. My mom was kind of abusive, like mentally. And granted, she doesn't ever think that she was. But my therapist said that she was.
So Samuel Pierce asks, I think VR does. Wait, no. Sorry, the Lucondrix asks. He had a better question. Fuck you, Samuel Pierce. Lucondrix asks, what do you think about an underwater temple in Fallout or Fallout Equestria, like a flooded bunker turned into a mermaid temple?
I think Fallout needed more underwater warfare in general.
In that, I would be so far up in that it would be pregnant.
Boston was such like an oceanic location. They needed like some of those like shark, things, shark dolphins and stuff that you could fight.
Well, I mean, you and I have been talking about trying to do a friggin' Sea Ponies episode.
We're going to do a Sea Ponies episode, especially after the movie. We're going to do a Sea Ponies episode.
So we should actually like a friggin' oh my god! You know what we should do? We should actually do it as like a bonus episode of Terminal Secrets of
oh my god,
like fucking underwater, like a flooded stable or something that the Sea Ponies arrive in, and you have the fucking logs.
That would be kind of fun. Yeah, that could be a fun little thing.
That could actually be quite nice as a bonus episode.
Shoopity wop wop.
All right, cool. So that's the thing that's probably going to happen.
Yeah, that's planned now. Like we could write that pretty quick.
Right? I mean, hell, we have December.
How great would it be too if all the audio was like underwater, like blub blub sounding?
Oh my god! Right? You have the blub blubs, and you've got Butterfly being like, "The fuck is this?" And the Crusader Mainframe's like, Fine, I will translate. Apparently you don't speak blub.
Or what if like all the control, like the butterfly and stuff, are just like, what the hell? They have tails? What? Are they mutants? Like fishtails?
And then you got Blue Ball there being like, why couldn't the fish side be at the top?
Yeah, where's the reverse mermaid? It's more interesting.
But then again, going by the usual Blue Ball, you know, whether the fish is at the top or the bottom, he's still not getting laid.
No. It's a curse. The name.
It's the name. It's the name.
I like that existential concept with the cutie marks too, where it's like the cutie mark ends up indicating what your ultimate life like purpose is going to be, whether or not you fully understand that. So it's like if you have a very short life, you're like, this doesn't make much sense. Or like with the Raiders, it's like, yeah, it's a horrible cutie mark because they're not gonna have anything else. It's like it's kind of oddly like what's the word? It's like the theological term.
Fulfilling prophecy.
Deterministic. Yeah. Like, yeah, you're gonna do this, and there's not really much you can do to change that. It's just kind of, it knows already what's gonna happen.
It's kind of sad, because, like, the Raiders are like, oh, why do I have a noose? Because you're really good at killing, like, hanging people. Like, that's you're really good at tying knots, so it's a noose because you hang ponies. Oh, why is my cutie mark hoof getting stabbed? Because you're really good at doing the stabby stab. Like...
Could you imagine if they like
you're
weren't
lucky
necessarily
we didn't
a
call
Raider
you
yet?
Stabby.
Boo! Someone disliked the live stream. That person can go, die in an apocalypse. Fuck you, one person.
I bet it was the sea ponies.
Probably.
No, the sea ponies.
It's probably Blue Ball.
So, Derek, is there anything you wanted to like mention or talk about, or a topic you wanted to do?
Well, I was like I brought up earlier. Argo Damon made a new animation for fan fiction that I recently got into called Australia.
Oh shit! Yeah, there we go.
I'm not familiar with the fan fiction, so you have to tell us about it.
It's how do I describe it? It's written by a well-known horse fiction writer, Short Skirts and Explosions, under a pseudonym.
Oh yeah.
And it's been updated almost daily since like 2012, so that's why I felt confident getting into it, because I used to read a lot of fan fiction, but
then I took you
but
there.
I haven't had. Huh?
So then I took an arrow to the knee.
No, I used to read a lot of fiction, but I wasn't confident enough in it that I could see it through to finish. So that's why I have confidence reading this series that's longer than all the completed Game of Thrones books.
No, I totally agree. That's why
Game of Thrones isn't completed though.
I won't get into a thing until it's usually like mostly done, or at least like reliably wrapped up, because otherwise it just sucks, you know? It's like if you get into a fan fiction and you're like, oh, it hasn't updated in 4 years, so this is probably dead.
Right. It would be like putting all of your time and effort into an animation studio that hadn't produced anything. Cough, cough.
Hashtag Vermont is not subtle.
Yeah, probably. The cutie mark idea does sort of make me wonder. It'd be kind of cool if you did a story to do a story of just like a group of raiders who have all completely misinterpreted their fucking cutie marks. Like they're all super obviously like nice things, but they immediately assume like the worst. Like not even like a hoof being stabbed or something. Like a happy sun shining down on some children, and it's kind of like, okay, cool. My destiny is to burn kids alive.
Or like somebody's got like a plant and they're like, okay, so my thing is selling pot or like making drugs out of plants or poisons.
Nice.
Like they're just
really good at horticulture.
It kind of seems like something that they would. It kind of seems like something that raiders would do. Like they would purposefully, willfully misunderstand as much as possible.
Or like somebody's got like a timer on there and they're really good at horology, but they think it's like them making bombs or something.
Oh my god! Yeah. So it's exactly that. Like, that works as like that would work as a nice short. Maybe when April Fool's Day comes along.
There we go.
Yeah, cutie marks are a big part of Fallout Equestria, and some of these Raider cutie marks are a big part of what sort of a lot of the fandom debates about.
Yeah, no, I try to make it a significant part of each episode. Not quite as much in 5, but might come back later, maybe. But then 6 is, it's your destiny. It's what you're meant to do, what you're meant to be. And so, like, slight spoiler. Well, it's major spoilers. With Freezy, of course, the symbol of her the nuclear pilot cutie mark wasn't just the fact that she'd be in that kind of pilot thing, but also that the reactor crystal would matter for her life and her future. So, I tried.
Well, it's funny. I never take them into account when I write a horse story. Okay. I mean, to the point where there are where Butterfly, it's never mentioned. So when the time came to do art first, the artist was like, "Well, what's Butterfly Stitch's cutie mark?" I'm like, shit. Take logo on. Just stick the logo on there.
Did you really?
Yeah. Look at the art. She's got the logo on her butt.
I don't remember that. Let me check now.
It's not in the new art. It's in the original Terminal Secrets art.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, it was like that, the vertical poster art that we had to kind of compress down to fit for a 16:9 ratio.
Oh, we didn't compress it. What I did was I kept it vertical, but then I took
it's like a pan shot.
Well, yeah, I kind of took that and then duplicated it twice, and then sort of so it's basically 3 posters, the same poster next to itself for like 3 times, and then the 2 on the side of kind of blurred out.
Oh yeah, I see it now. I don't know why I never noticed that. I
thought Baron had fixed his thing, but it's Krellick.
What always but like what always caught me off guard with this original art is how Pinkin has like this super defined jawline, like she's freaking
right?
Like she's freaking the chin from Fairly Odd Parents or something. I don't know. It always threw me off a little bit how she's like got this very rugged jawline.
You could see her, it's actually a bit too defined because the skin underneath her jaw it goes upward.
Yeah, and I pay attention because that was the my character in the art, and I'm just like staring at it, and also the eyes are wrong. But it's just like it always captures my eyes whenever I look at this old art.
Well, what's actually what I find really really funny is if you take a look at that art. Is because that art was made for one of the other versions of Terminal Secrets. I'm not even gonna try and bother to figure out which version of Terminal Secrets that art was made for.
Yeah.
But like you could see, so only 2 of the characters in that art actually appears in Terminal Secrets, being Butterfly in the center and on the bottom.
Left.
And Pinkin at the bottom left.
Those 2, that's it, out of the 10 characters on screen.
Yeah, exactly. As for the other characters, they were originally going to be so that was originally meant to be all the different stable experiments, and all the protagonists of that. But so I mean, arguably, some of those characters some of those designs that are in there can be used to assume, okay, that's who that looks like. The dude with the purple mane, that could probably be Thistle.
I'm trying to remember. I didn't give too much color character, I think, to them in terms of description.
Nah.
I didn't sign their cutie marks either.
Yeah.
No, I did describe them a little bit because the red mane, that was like a factor that Mill used as the flirt line. Yeah. So I gotta go back. I didn't put as much thought into them as I showed earlier. Is my original art for Pinkin here, where the coloring mattered not only for the hair but also for the Perkins tractors, the whole the placebo inspiration. So
The thing about Terminal Secrets is that you kind of is that because it's more audio drama than Confessions was. So just character description doesn't come into it very much because of the you don't have someone narrating what's going on, so that someone never naturally falls into describing the characters.
Yeah, it's like how often do you describe yourself verbally to people? It's the same thing.
So, you've actually pulled.
I have put it up there. No, the one other character that is actually in there, I count the terminal screen as part of Stella, so that's she's a character in there.
Oh yeah, that is part of. Well, I mean, it even says Crusader at the bottom of
that's
it,
right.
So that is Stella. But then, of course, we had one party who the artist decided he wanted to make look like Gabe Newell.
Oh my gosh.
And like his weird face that sort of sticks out. I still don't like that.
No.
No. It's like that is a terrible, terrible design.
Yeah.
I mean, there's fucking God, I don't remember who most of those characters are. God, I know,
right? I mean, I'm sure you had to feed them some info because I was requested by someone what Pinkin looked like for this art, and that's when I came up with this little, obviously the freaking General Zoe creator version of her.
This art was made. This art was made maybe a year before you were approached to add Pinkin to it.
That's true. Yeah, that's right. I forgot that the art was existed beforehand.
The art existed long beforehand, but then Terminal Secrets went through its longest state of being cancelled to date. Like, I think it was almost a year that of cancelled Terminal Secrets that we were sitting and dealing with before eventually I went back to Mohan. I was like, okay, cool. I have the new version. Please don't let JD cancel this one.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and then, I remember it was like loosely, September when they finally gave the green light and then we started spitballing the ideas?
Well, I mean, by that point, everyone who had ever tried to stand against Terminal Secrets had left the studio by that point, so
that is essentially what happened, isn't it?
It wasn't necessarily that Terminal Secrets was greenlit. It was just that everyone who was left that could greenlit was already a friend of mine.
Yeah.
So at that point, it was kind of like, well, why even bother? Let's just greenlight the bastard.
I remember that too, because that was when I was actually finally let onto the writing team, a solid 2 years after I was the only one writing narrative content for the studio. Yeah, that was a special moment, a vindication, especially when then I Dose worked out well enough that I was able to get that as the pilot. So
one day I will have my moment of vindication. One day.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as vindication. I mean, you were just the token member of the writing team.
Me? What?
You're our token. No, Scabbled. He was our token American.
Oh, I was like, wait a minute. I just edit.
Yeah.
Because we had.
I just make sure people don't go, who wrote this every time Vermont does something.
And just like in real life, the American does all the heavy lifting.
Yep.
I was talking, yeah, so we because we had the team leader that was Feather Scratch over there in the comments. Yeah, and Feather Scratch would like to point out that he supported both Terminal Secrets and Confessions from the start, which is true.
He named himself.
He was on our side. It was fucking management that was the problem.
Yeah,
Ah,
when
there
they
we go.
deleted the original confessions off the channel, like a cold swipe.
Fucking I'm sending you a thing, by the way, Sky. Since this is probably my favorite piece of Terminal Secrets art, we should never not show it off.
Okay.
As soon as I get
Yeah, speaking, a quick aside while you're doing that, when we mentioned Vindication, there's this old sci-fi B movie from, like, whenever that I remember seeing growing up, and it was called The Vindicator, and there's the scene where the guy, like, they put him in this white, white, creamy-looking, like, tank to heal him, because he gets all, like, burned and shit. That is the inspiration for the biotype accelerant. The whole, like, you know, big, thick, milky, creamy thing. It's actually not, like... It's not an entendre or anything. It was inspired by that old B movie, The Vindicator, where the white, whatever, oxygen fluid heals the guy. So that's just a little FYI. It's actually not as pervy as it sounded.
Are you sure? I feel like I feel like that was mostly pervy.
It can work many ways. Magic Bow Wow.
Magic Bow Wow.
Hey, chicka bum bum. Oh yeah, no, this art by
oh my god,
of the chamber. No, I love this art. This is probably my favorite Terminal Secrets art. I think I still use that as the that's the album art in like the downloads when you download the audio.
Yeah, so this is what. So in case anyone who listens to Terminal Secrets wants to know what the chamber they work in looks like, this is where. This is where they do the chamber. This is where they do their fucking the analysis. There's Stella. She's got her. So that which is always a shame that we can you know, we tried to let it come across in the most recent set of Terminal Secrets art of what Stella looks like. She's sort of that. She's got that whole fucking arm that sort of descends down that very GLaDOS type.
It's very heavy GLaDOS inspirations, yes. Yeah,
and we try to do it for. I think it was into episode 3, or I might be getting it confused with episode 4 of having Spare Parts make an offhanded comment about the size and shape of the chamber, just because I kind of, it's like, you know, can we just for a moment remember to just point out these poor. For the sake of all the effort the artists put in, what the chamber looks like. It's a pretty cool looking chamber. It's pretty badass fucking art.
No, I agree. This is the voice actor for Dr. Greenshift, Ian Anderson, who drew this, right? I think. Yeah, and he did a great job. I love this art.
Yeah, he fucking nailed it. Comment section. We have been ignoring the comments.
Oh, I know. We should go back to that. What's going on?
Have we heard of the movie Snowpiercer? Yes. Oh my God, yes.
Oh yeah, that's the train, right? I still have to see that.
Yeah. Fuck, dude.
I've heard it's actually much better than like the sort of Sci-Fi Channel look or the original marketing kind of sold it on.
No, Snowpiercer is pretty fucking solid.
It seems neat.
Oh yeah, it definitely is.
Pardon?
I said yeah, it definitely is. I'd recommend it.
Nice.
Pretty badass. Pretty fits the ass bad.
I like the idea that it can't stop, otherwise it'll like shut down. Like that seems very like I picture future colonization on like, you know, frickin' Titan or whatever. It would be that way where heat is the most important resource. You have to keep everything hot enough where people can actually survive.
What do you think about a zombie episode? Not feral ghoul, as there's a difference in Fallout Equestria. Wait, there's a difference between feral ghouls and zombies?
There's no.
I always think zombie is just a fun like derision for feral ghouls. That's how I use it anyway.
The thing is, in Fallout in general, the term zombie isn't really a thing. It's kind of like how The Walking Dead, the term zombie isn't a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in the universe of The Walking Dead, George Romero never lived.
Yeah. So they never really had a zombie, so to speak. But
so
Fallout's version is the ghouls, and that's, the best way that they learn to explain it is the ghouls. So feral ghouls are essentially zombies, so there's not really much of a difference.
Bone bags.
Yeah, exactly.
Bone bags aren't bone. Well, no, I mean, I might be thinking of a different kind of canon, but there's actually like, I forget what the story is, but there's a story where like they have zombies and then they have bone. Oh, it's warm bodies. That's what it is.
Oh yeah, the love, the
kind
romance.
of like passive.
Yeah.
And then they
Romeo
have
and Juliet, but with
the
zombies.
crazy zombies that like eat fucking everything.
Yeah, I always like fiction where they have to do that. They have to create the then worse level to justify humanizing the monster. I actually love this movie, but Daybreak did it, where it's got like Sam Neill as like all the world is vampires and there's like a blood shortage because there's no people or very few people left, and so then they have to create the next level of vampire, which are these really crazy looking monster Nosferatu looking deals, and they're like, it's funny that they always have to do that. Yeah, no, zombie is the old Haitian voodoo term, so that's what it's inspired by.
But like they didn't actually get like actual zombies until Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Or no, Night of the Living Dead was it?
Yeah, I think that's the original.
Yeah, it's Night of the Living Dead where we got the term, and we essentially got zombies as we know them. Because before then they were very, very different.
Yeah, no, Krelek mentions, for me, definitely World War Z is like very quintessential zombie, and it's hard to say that I'm not biased because of how much inspiration that's led in my own writing.
Yeah, that's what Confessions is based off of.
Yeah, like pretty.
It's
basically
it's World War Z but with horses.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Luke Condrix, you're going to feel a lot more specific. Like, you're trying to explain what you meant about the difference between zombies and feral ghouls, and you're doing a terrible job at it.
Oh.
Is that too mean? Is that mean?
It's somewhat justified. That's like vampires too. Vampires are sort of like having an existential crisis because we had Twilight fuck up the mythology of vampires for a while, so it's like we have to get back on track. That's why it was so sad that the Van Helsing was such a meh movie, because I actually really like the world building in that. I thought that was very interesting, the way they have the vampire and like the cold, frozen mirror world and everything. I thought that was neat.
I absolutely loved Van Helsing, like the Hugh Jackman I loved it.
That was also probably peak Hugh Jackman too.
What?
You also loved that it was like peak Hugh Jackman, I'm guessing?
No, I had nothing, like, I don't particularly, like, love Hugh Jackman. I'm just not like, oh, Hugh Jackman is awesome. I think he's a good actor and everything, but he just, he doesn't do it for me. But, like, I liked what they did with the vampires being, like, kind of like shapeshifters, They have their human version, and then they have their feral version where they fly around, and I thought that was cool shit.
Yeah, absolutely. And mixing in the Frankenstein stuff, I thought was actually very well done. In
exactly, like, it didn't feel forced. It felt very, like, coercive.
Yeah, there was a reason for everything. It was like, they had to get the Frankenstein machine to save the children, and there was a reason everyone feared them, and blah, blah, blah. So.
Yeah. There we go. So the Convex has elaborated on what he meant by the difference between the two. He's referring to the old Gaelic version of the unstoppable zombie that can only be stopped by getting buried.
Buried.
Either buried or barred, but because he's he.
I don't know.
He said this because of the myths that, because MLP draws its mythology from Greek and Gaelic and so on. But the problem is that just because that's the culture that MLP draws its mythology from doesn't necessarily mean that it's part of the culture. It's not. It's never been mentioned in the show. It was never mentioned in Fallout Equestria. There is no ghouls and zombies are the same thing.
I might need a quick rundown on what Gaelic zombies are. I'm not familiar with that.
We have an Irishman in the comments section.
I know, yeah, that's why I'm prompting here.
Scratchy!
I know the Greek Greco-Roman shit, because
Scratchy, be our token.
that's
our
like
token
literally lifted
Irish.
into the show between the I mean, we have literally Tartars and literally Cerberus in an episode, so it's pretty 1-1 like translation.
Right? Well, I mean, like, they do some pretty... I quite like the world building that they've done in the show. That kind of surprised me. Except for the yaks. They could just kick all of those off.
We need more yaks.
True.
Fuck the yaks.
Yeah, fuck the yaks.
How did they return for a second episode? I mean,
Because
first
Pinky
episode...
needed to learn.
Yeah, but, I mean...
They need to bring Ember in like a more regular character, like Trixie. Ember needs to just be around more, period.
Ember was in one of the newer episodes.
I know.
She was in
Ember was fantastic.
Yeah.
And
Oh man, no. Okay, I gotta tell you how salty I got real quick.
Uh-oh.
With the new all changeling episodes where they kind of showed what was going. Oh, so fucking salty. I was like, bring me back my evil changelings. Don't give me this hippie bullshit with feelings for them. Fuck this.
Yeah.
oh my god, right, I hate the new change. There we go.
Candy changelings are pretty lame.
Scratchy has jumped in and said, fun fact, the stake through the heart thing is based on a legend. To stop the dead from rising, you need to dig up a grave and nail the corpse to the ground. Hence what the Condrix meant by burying.
I like that. So it's literally just like a physical impediment where you're just nailing it to the ground so it can't leave.
Yeah, you're literally just...
Yeah. Which actually makes her a pretty scary fucking zombie.
I mean, yeah. Could you imagine, like, opening a coffin and it's just, like, it's reaching for you, but it can't move off the stake? That would be pretty scary.
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, just be like, haha, you fucking stuck, you bitch.
That's why I'm glad we live in an age of concrete, because then you just pour all over that little skeleton boy. You can't go anywhere now. That shit's gonna harden and harden and harden.
Though, real talk, I really do like Pharynx from the new episode. I like his whatchamacallit. I like his like aesthetic, I guess.
Aesthetic.
I'm not a huge fan of the Rainbow Moose.
Aesthetic.
But Pharynx is like still kind of looks changeling, but he's still Rainbow Moose. It's very it's weird, but I like it.
I think that's what bothers me the most about it, is the fact that they do look like some kind of magical mooses now. It's like, how do you get this from bugs?
They look like magical meese.
Meese. Yeah. Moosin.
I figured they kind of looked like I figured they kind of looked like deers, but I just hate the design so much because they
look like moose because the way their antlers are. Like their antlers aren't facing backwards like a deer. Their antlers are facing outwards like a moose.
Yeah, I know, but I don't live in a country where there are meese.
You need to take our North American moose understanding at face value here. We live very close to Canada. Kenyatta.
We know what moose look like. We know the meese.
The meeses.
Did you know the group of meeses are called a business?
Okay. So a friend of mine bought, since I'm up in the PNW.
Oh my god.
A friend of mine, when we were coming back from Linden, which is about 5 minutes away from Canada,
Kenyatta.
We stopped by this gas station, and she bought a hat, and it was black with glow-in-the-dark on it, and it had Bigfoot on it, right?
Yes.
And on the side was written, "Bigfoot doesn't believe in you either."
Oh my gosh.
It's the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, a good quarter of the stuff in Ashland even was Bigfoot merch, which was really great.
There's this store here in Oregon called Made in Oregon.
Of course.
And they sell, like, things that are pertaining to Oregon, obviously. But one of the things that they sell is this vial, okay? Like a test tube vial filled with moss and a piece of barbed wire. And on that barbed wire is a piece of faux fur. And they sell it as, like, Bigfoot specimen fur.
Amazing.
It's fucking great. I actually bought one. Like, I only bought one because it's like $10, which is ridiculous because I could make the same thing for less. But they sell it for like $10, so I bought one and I sent it to a friend of mine who's like super into cryptids. And I sent it to him. I was like, "Here you go, it's Bigfoot fur," and he's just like, "Oh
my gosh."
Good lord, that's kind of. I mean, God, $10? That's like, what, 150 rand?
It's insanely gimmicky. It really is.
No, I would not buy Bigfoot fur for $10. I mean, I wouldn't buy it for any dollars, but I would definitely not buy it.
Because it's not Bigfoot fur.
You know what? It could be actual goddamn Bigfoot fur. I would still not buy it for $10.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's
It could be hair off of his balls. I would not buy it for $10.
Hair off of his balls.
I would like to know how someone like gets that. How do you get that without killing the whole Bigfoot and without him killing
I
you?
want to know how you got hair off his testicles. Like, I'm rather impressed.
Yeah, that's actually almost a better story. I'd rather read the book about that than have the actual hair.
That I would pay $10 for. The book about how they got the hair sample.
You know, the thing that I'm talking about, they make it as like Bigfoot passed by and got caught in this barbed wire, and
you know what I didn't know was a thing? When I was, we were leaving Ashland, and we went to a gas station where it's like, I'm getting out of the car, and like, you know, like getting my card out and stuff, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, freaking, he's a shorter guy, so like a shorter guy, gas station attendant, like pops up on me, and I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, "Can I help you?" And I'm like, luckily, I was quick enough on my feet to put things together, like, yeah, can you fill me up? I didn't know there's, like, gas station attendants were a thing in Oregon. I thought that was, like, just New Jersey.
Nope, you don't pump your own gas here, and, like, I get the point, and I also don't get the point. Like, it helps create jobs, which is nice, but at the same time, it seems kind of weird.
Yeah, and you pay an extra 30 cents a gallon for it, which, no, I can put my own
No,
gas.
you actually don't pay extra for it.
I'd be surprised if you don't pay extra for it.
You don't, but sometimes, like, people do find it nice to tip the gas attendant.
Oh my god!
Like, especially if it's hot out,
Don't
like, people will tip them, but you don't have to. I do.
So you don't actually you don't pump your own gas here. As far as you know, pretty much anywhere here actually. Every petrol station has the attendant. You wait for the attendant to get to you, and then they do it. I'm pretty sure if you pulled outside, if you pulled into a petrol station and tried to pump your own gas, they would beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, no, and that's what I hate. What you first mentioned was then you wait for an attendant. I'm like, no, I'm not going to wait for an attendant if I can do it myself. It's like, that's the thing I care most about is the time, even if it doesn't cost me anything. Luckily, this guy scared the shit out of me, so it didn't cost me any time aside from the awkwardness. And then the small talk was creepy as well, so I'm like, okay, can you just finish pumping my gas and let me leave, please? It's like, ugh. So, yeah. I don't know. That threw me off. Luckily, we don't have that shit in California.
I feel like Skybell wouldn't survive in Portland.
Ugh, no, I'd probably kill myself. It's it's all the worst parts of Herlong, but then or not Herlong, frickin' a Humble, but magnified. Fuck. Feather Scratch, do you have a DA? Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Hashtag like, follow, subscribe.
Yeah, there you go.
It's the sound of James dying.
Yeah, no, I lived in Oklahoma a while too, and you just do your own gas there, so just do it.
It is too late in the night for Vermont to be entertaining. Your guys will have to pick up the slack yourselves.
Yeah, we're going to have to find an alternate schedule anyway for some of our like patrons and other studio members that can't fit in this time slot. So we'll figure it out because I want to get Kelly and Okard back on a podcast too. The last one was too buggy as fuck.
Oh my god! Right? I wouldn't mind doing some alternate podcast times. We will just have to let our community know ahead of time, which reminds me, all you motherfuckers listening to this, go and find us on our Facebook page or on our... Actually, no, just the Facebook page, because we are not active on Twitter whatsoever.
The Twitter just reposts the Facebook page.
Yeah. But go find us on there because we post our updates. So if the podcast changes times for a week or so, then that'll be where you find out. Because I know every now and then I see some people in the comment section afterwards. The most common comments that we have after the podcast launch drops fully is, "Damn it, I missed the podcast."
Yeah, and the Facebook page is really dank. You want to get in on that. That's good stuff.
Oh yeah, that, and also it's just memes. It's like 90% memes. I'm pretty proud of the one. I'm actually pretty proud of the one I did this morning.
So am I.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
One.
Of the I did my own distracted boyfriend meme of the with the impending release of Terminal Secrets Episode 4, and these fan base temporarily forgetting that confessions is a thing. We are almost there. It's so close.
It is so close.
And it's been a long time, because the last episode, oh my god, are we in the 10th month? Wait, no, in the 9th month.
Vermont has been really good at making the dank memes lately. He made me a meme and I loved it.
Oh god, I did, yes. Fucking... but yeah, god no, because the last episode of Terminal Secrets, that was the 3rd of January.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've last had. No, Scratchy has suggested 2 podcasts a week.
No, God,
I don't know. Like,
one podcast a week is already a lot. We really don't.
I mean, do you remember we used to do this once every 2 weeks?
Yeah, that felt like a better pacing to me.
No,
but now we actually have people who are paying to be on here. So.
I know.
Right.
That you are continually steamrolling.
They're not offering up enough.
Yeah, they need.
No, it's all fine.
Yeah, if they're paying to be on the podcast, they know it means they know the podcast well enough to know what it's like on here.
Yeah. Plus, the thing I hate the most when I'm listening to a podcast is a multiple second gap of silence. It just completely rots the conversation, and it's like, especially now that we're like kind of good at doing this, I think it's like you can't have those big gaps of conversation because the audience gets instantly bored.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say we've gotten good at doing this. I think I'd go so far as to say we're competent.
I'd say we're better than other Fallout Equestria themed podcasts.
There are other Fallout Equestria themed podcasts?
I was about to say that, like, there are other ones?
There is another one.
There's Faux Talk.
It's the Overmare Studios. They have a podcast that I've deigned to actually listen to.
Yeah, but their podcast, I've never listened to it, but I don't think they've done an update to it in a very long time.
Could be.
But no, I mean, essentially, right now we're the most popular Fallout Equestria studio, or just content creators exclusively by default.
Damn straight.
Because no one else is doing anything at the moment.
Damn straight.
Yay, we're best by default.
Which gets really, really funny every time I'm in the Pabs chat, because I mean, they are so close to finishing their animation. And to be fair, once it releases, it'll get a hell of a lot of very well-deserved attention. But up until that point, I am having so much fun teasing things.
Yeah, it is kind of that slow burn. That is the problem with animation. Is just like you get a good update, and then it's like 5 months of nothing, and then you get an update, and yeah, it's frustrating.
Well, it's kind of like with animation, I feel, or like with these sorts of animations, like with what Pabs is doing and with what Stabletech had tried to do, is don't tell anyone what you do until that you're planning on doing this project until you are like a month away from release.
I agree, absolutely. You don't want to build a hype train until you have the deliverable and you're just putting the finishing touches on.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure that's what I told you, Vermont, with Untypical.
Yeah, but then I decided I didn't want to do that, so I did my own thing anyway, and it's working out great. Woo!
Yeah, I actually had a lot of fun doing shit posting on our Facebook in July for Confession 6 and building hype, but then I had like a quick delay because I was waiting for one sentence. And you can hear it in the patron. I released finally my other Skyblog for the patrons, and I talk about that one damn sentence I was waiting for to finish the audio. So I was like, I like built up the hype, and then a few week gap, and then we release.
Look, the advantage we have is that so with shit like Confession 6 or Terminal Secrets 4 or Untypical, where we should talk or we advertise it months in advance, we can do that because of the fact that we are unlike things like Paths, we are not relying exclusively on those major projects.
Exactly.
We have new content that comes out every week or every 2 weeks if we're slow. So it is kind of like the thing of, yes, we're like of that, like, yes, this is taking a while to come out, but on the other hand, here's all the other content that is actually way more popular than the content that we're trying to hype up. Wasteland Survival Guide is one of our most popular series.
Oh, yeah. No, the podcast is great because that's become a series of its own. And then the Wasteland Survival Guide was just so long in the making that it was like finally when we could deliver it, when we had everything in place and VA and everything, that it's just, I'm so happy to see all these episodes. Yes. In the cumulative views, I think it's actually also in the cumulative views, I think it is now our most successful series. I think it's gained more. I mean, unless you count the original run of Confessions on the Stable Tech channel, which I think it's like 30,000 views between all the episodes there. It's quite a bit. I mean, obviously all the single animation stuff gets more naturally, but it's like in terms of sustainability, and I think we see that in the comments too that people talk about, where it's like we're sticking with things and we're trying to see them through to completion, and that's what like the fans appreciate, and that's who we're trying to please, is the fans that actually come back for every episode and enjoy the content, and yeah.
Hey, that's what I appreciate.
Heck yeah, we love our fans.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Oh shit! I actually didn't even realize that. Oh shit! No, he hasn't. In the comment section, Samuel Pierce was pointing out that there is another podcast that was running, which was the Fallout Equestria talk by Isaiah Jacobs. Which, I mean, it was a good podcast, like that. But unfortunately, it hasn't been running very often, which is a shame because they've had some pretty. He's had some great guests on there. They had Fuzzy, who wrote Thingy.
Murky Number 7.
No, it was Murky Number 7. That was it. So it's one of the big five.
That is a big one. Holy hell.
Yeah.
What is that, like 700,000 words? God damn.
Somewhere along there, yeah. They had Captain Horse on there, who he's a fantastic writer. I've worked with him a couple of times. I'm fairly certain he hates me. I am 75% certain he hates me.
Nice.
But the problem is that we keep ending up working on projects together, so I'm not 100. Everyone I've met who has worked with him is not sure whether or not he likes them.
Interesting.
Ooh,
so it
Vermont.
must be yeah.
I'm gonna send you a message, Vermont, because I have an idea. I don't want to say it out loud, but okay. I'm going to message you.
Okay, then stop saying it out loud.
Curious.
That was essentially my whole experience at Stable Tech. Was I think I'm like the black sheep, but like it's hard to tell.
Oh, most of them hated you.
Oh yeah, because
most of them hated you.
No, it was a good time, and look where they are now, gone into the ether, and here we are making all the content we promised we'd make.
Ooh, that's a good idea, Needle. Do you think you could pull that off?
Oh my god.
Do you think you could pull that off, though? Do you think you could do that?
I know them, personally.
Yes, I know you know them. You know everyone personally at this rate. But that would actually be a pretty badass addition to the podcast for an episode.
I think I could. However, I think it might be best to do it patron-free.
I'm still waiting for you to bring DWK on the podcast, Vermont.
I'm not going to be able to bring DWK onto the podcast whilst the thing is running, the show.
Okay, then let's do a pre-recorded one.
So, like after the show ends, I could probably convince him. But the problem is that because he gets out a new episode every single week.
You mean the season?
So during the season, yeah, his schedule is completely fucked. He had to drop out of one project that we did, which was annoying because we then had to. We had to write around the fact that
he's gone now.
Also, what we did was because unfortunately the show is on hiatus anyway because of animation issues. But what we did was we had his body appear in it, but then we had him be possessed by brainworms.
Oh my gosh!
So we had his body, but then it spoke with someone else's voice. For episode 3, we were going to go into a PG-13 zone of space where everything illegal is censored, so everything out of his mouth was just beep, 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 beep. So that was how we wrote around him in that.
I'm totally looking forward to his totally legit recap of the movie, not the Equestria Girls.
Oh my god,
that's going to be incredible.
Well, I can't wait for him to do the one for Legend of Everfree, specifically because he stole one of my jokes for it.
Nice.
About the fact that about the life of the brother and sister. So I can't wait to just watch the video and then sit in the comment section and be like, okay, so I know you said you were going to steal my joke, but you bastard, you stole all of my jokes for this.
Nice.
Anyway.
Right? Anyway, back to what I was saying.
Back to what you're saying.
I think I would have to ask what they are okay with in terms of who they're okay with having and things like that. I don't think they would have a problem with being on here.
Yeah, right, as long as they don't listen to certain moments of the podcast where I had vocally given certain opinions.
Okay, now I'm getting annoyed. Either say the name or take the conversation offline.
No, we're going to be as annoying as possible. Say
the name. Say it.
No.
Say it now.
No.
Say it right now.
No, we refuse.
No.
Say my name. We won't say the name.
Fantastic.
I will tell you the name later, but for very specific reasons, I don't want to say the name right now.
Should we talk about the Game of Thrones finale? I feel like that's something relevant.
No, we can't, because I actually was watching it last night, right? And then my computer crapped out, and I only got the episode.
So do you know what happens at the very end of the episode?
I don't. I only got through like the first half. I still have another 30 minutes to get through.
Oh my god.
No, if you got to the first half, you've got another hour to get through. It's a 2-hour episode.
It's pretty long, yeah.
Oh shit, then I got a lot more to get through. Okay, I will try to get through it today, and then we can talk about it on the next podcast, okay?
Damn it.
Alright, we'll talk about it on the next podcast. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. That's going to be the podcast where Skybolt isn't even there.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever.
But once we end this podcast and we kick out the patron and Krellick, I will tell you who Vermont and I are talking about.
There are other people on the podcast.
Krellick's here, he just hasn't been talking.
Jesus.
Hey.
Oh my god.
Why are you in the call if you're not going to say anything?
That's what I was about to kick him out. Just be like, bye, you're not saying shit.
Krellick is the Chris Damaris of our podcast.
It's like, this episode's for the patron, not for the Krellick.
Well, I can start talking if you want me to talk.
Not really.
It's fine. Either way, whatever you want to do, dude.
God.
I also hope our patrons in the future appreciate for the official podcast art. I did add in a second patron pony. We have the little Pip on the left, and now we have a blackjack patron pony on the right. So there you go.
Dude, I'm super sad that Baron wasn't getting through.
I felt bad about that. Yeah. I don't know what to do. I mean,
that's nothing that's our fault. That's his own technical difficulties or their own technical difficulties. But I actually wanted to talk about things because we were talking about the name day and everything, and I wanted more.
Yeah, I wanted to know about that too. That seemed interesting.
Yeah. Oh, we'll have to try again. We'll have to try and get them on another one.
And before anyone asks, no, I'm not going to update it with the new Patreon logo because the new Patreon logo is retarded. So we're going to stick with these.
Oh my god, I hate.
I mean, that's like an architecture student being like, okay, I'm going to make the most new, super postmodern looking logo I can. It's going to be a circle and a rectangle, and it's a P now.
Right? It is just I hate the logo so much. I actually don't like most of how Patreon's now changed its design. There are some elements that have made it easier for me to navigate while I'm just managing the page, but fucking messages, oh my god, trying to get it to take away the notification that you've read the message, because just going into the message and reading the message does not remove it as an unread message. It still gives you the fucking notification. Oh my god.
Yeah. So no, it's just like, I don't know why all these companies are coming up with these like really goofy like.
Have you seen the new YouTube logo? What the fuck's up with that?
Yeah.
I don't mind.
I think that's the Fallout font, isn't it? It almost seems like it's the non-oblique overseer font.
But at least Fallout. At least YouTube just changed the font of it. It's not like they actually physically changed like
the font, man.
Logo part of the logo.
The YouTube logo is pretty iconic at this point, because all their little like frickin', the silver ones and the gold ones and the platinum, it's all the logo. They really can't change it at this point, right?
Right? But the fucking oh my god, I hate the what Facebook has done with their like it's just with the fucking how comments are done. Like, it looks like especially on mobile, it's meant to look like texts.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, yeah, it's a horrible aesthetic. It doesn't work nicely. You're just changing your design for the sake of changing it.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's
hey, not to interrupt.
No, go for it.
But we were talking about Faux Talk earlier, and it looks like they posted some new stuff like 42 minutes ago.
Faux Talk? What's that?
The other with Isaiah Jacobs, the other Fallout Equestria podcast.
Oh, did he? Oh shit! Did they do another video? Because the fucking Faux Talk hadn't done a video in months. I mean, I've seen.
It's because Isaiah got shipped out.
Oh, that was it. I was actually wondering about that. I haven't seen him in the Post-Apoc Emporium knocking about in a while. Not that I go on to there very often.
It was Post-Apoc Emporium. Like, I tried to promo for EAST Corp, and I couldn't post to the promo thing, and I was like, why can't I? And the main dude's like, oh, because you only have voice actor privileges. And I was like, no, I'm the producer for EAST Corp Productions. I have content creator as well.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, let me fix that. And then it took like 2 weeks to actually get it fixed.
So wait, what is this forum? Is this like officially Fallout Equestria? Like, what is this?
Yeah, it's Discord. It's a Discord, but it's meant specifically for people who create Fallout Equestria content. It's not meant for like plebs.
Oh, interesting. I got to get on there.
Yeah. So there's a.
I thought you did. I thought I linked you to that one like a while ago.
Oh, is it that one? I think I'm just a normie in that though. I'm not sure if I'm like creator tier. I almost never use Discord. I'm sorry, everyone.
Oh yeah, that doesn't. Yeah, Skybot's almost never on Discord, which is hilarious because the EAST Corp the EAST Corp Discord with all our patrons on it is basically the patrons, and then sometimes Needle sticks in there, and then usually it's me going in there and just causing vague havoc.
I feel like it's an RPG engine at this point, which is fine for all of them, but I also don't know RPGing too well. That's why the podcast is perfect. It's like whoever wants to hang out, just come hang out. We can chat. It's great.
We're in the podcast.
Yeah.
I prefer like I have Discord, and some of the patrons do hit me up on that, which is fine. But when they add me, they automatically get added to my Skype, which I'm not okay with.
Nice.
I don't know why they get automatically like added to my Skype. I think it's because I have both Skype and Discord on my phone, so I think it automatically just connects. But like, I don't like having spaghetti in my. I'm not saying everybody is spaghetti, but every once in a while, I do get that really interesting person who refers to me as Ditzy and seems to think that I am actually Ditzy. Like,
hey, before I get too far away from it, did I ever tell anyone what the our logo is inspired by? I feel like I might have covered this before.
Yeah, it's the construction of it's the Mare Island facility.
Well, no, like the EAST Corp logo. I just threw it on screen here.
Oh, it hasn't arrived. It hasn't arrived yet.
It will soon.
No, it won't.
That's
not the Discord. That's Steve Carell.
Oh yeah, no, I know what the EAST Corp logo looks like.
Yes.
I work
yes,
for it. But
Sky, you have explained what it is many times.
Isn't it based off of how the buildings are laid out on Mare Island?
Well, there is that. That was actually retconning a little bit.
Oh, was that retconning?
Yeah, it was retconning. No, it was actually originally inspired by Emerson, which is an engineering firm that I've had to work with before, and then also classical IBM, which is more IBM in reality, or not like reality, but in concept IBM, and then more graphically the Emerson logo. Yeah. So that's what EAST Corp is, in case you're interested.
It's actually kind of a shame that that this podcast didn't happen before I had to hand in my last assignment. So part of our animation assignment in terms of learning for this term, in terms of learning how to do 3D, was we had to do logo design and generate a 3D logo.
Heck yeah, man.
And we had to have this, and we had this one essay of okay, cool, design your own logo and use references and talk about the references that you're using. So so for the sake of knowledge, I went and created my own logo, vaguely based it off the EAST Corp logo, and then wrote a page and a half about the EAST Corp logo.
Nice. Yeah, no, dude, I took a graphic design class in high school, and that's why it was like a two-part thing. It was graphic design and photoshopping, and I learned a lot of the stuff that's now fed into my Pony Productions, thanks to it.
Yeah.
Everything ends in horses. I don't know what happened there.
Everything kind of ends in horses. That's and then you just hope that it doesn't end. Well, actually, everything kind of leads to horses. You don't want it to end there.
Yeah, horse ends are a whole different matter. That's a whole different channel. Horses are very important, actually, because it's if they were the main mode of transportation for frickin' 5,000 years until essentially the train, and even then the train had limitations. So now it's the car or truck and planes and ships. Yeah, but horses are kind of a big deal.
Have we discussed everything?
We discussed everything over the last several podcasts, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, what's up next, or should we call it to the end of the podcast? Because I am starting to feel rather groggy, so you may have to continue without me, if that's the case.
We're at 1 hour 47 minutes. Let's make it to 2 hours, and then we'll cut it off.
All right, cool. Push to the 2 hours. Quantum Sim has asked, what do you think is the best presented boss you've seen in the video game? Okay.
Strong opinions.
So when you say the best presented boss, do you mean the boss fight itself, how the boss is designed, how the boss is introduced, the staging of the fight? I mean, there's a lot that sort of goes into when you say best presented boss. There's silence. Could someone discuss what you think?
I really like the build-up of Ulysses in New Vegas Lonesome Road DLC.
Ooh, yeah.
He's probably one of my favorite villains in all of Fallout.
I agree with that. That's a good one.
That's a good one. I think probably one of the best bosses I've seen is the marionette from Guild Wars 2. I don't know if any of you have played the Guild Wars games.
Oh, I haven't.
So what they kind of did really, really well for that for that section, for a lot of their great bosses for 2013. I think it was 2013 or 2014, somewhere around there, where they had essentially so they give you the boss. They give you 3 pathways that the boss would sort of send dudes down to attack you, and you sort of had to fight your way through the dudes up your pathway to reach a portal to the boss to then fight the boss. But the big trick is that there are so many enemies to fight and so many different varieties that you need that you need around about 200 players on the map at the same time to fight your way up there to beat the boss, and you're sort of coordinating with each other the entire time. So it feels like it's kind of like it feels like what MMOs should be doing all the time. That's what I don't get about most MMOs. They don't take advantage of what they are. They're kind of just online for the sake of being online. As bosses go, that's a pretty fucking awesome one.
Nice. This probably doesn't fully work per se, but one of my favorite sort of like boss scenarios is actually the Scarab from the early Halo 2 level, where you see it enter and like the whole level is just you working your way through New Mombasa to get to the Scarab to fudge it up, and then finally getting on there and cleaning out all the enemies and stuff. I thought that was fun. And then
that's actually a great example of a boss fight.
That's one of my favorite levels from Halo 2. And then at the very end, what's really funny with damn Tartarus is one of my playthroughs. I find I'd work my way all the way through. It's just a full playthrough. And then I get to Tartarus, and it's like the first jump, and he jumps off of the platform, like completely just off to his own death. And then the credits start rolling. I'm like, did that just happen? It was so great. I was like all geared up for the big Tartarus fight, and he just jumps off himself.
Is anyone here a fan of the Metroid series?
I never played it. I'm sorry.
Okay, so one of the earlier Metroid games, which was Fusion, that probably had one of the best build-ups to a boss fight that I've ever seen, where essentially at the in sort of the opening of the game, you are you're sort of in your suit that you're wearing is infected with this parasite, and they pull your body out of the suit and they give you a new suit, but it's a much weaker suit, and then you're sent off on your mission or whatever. But then as you go through after you make a certain amount of progress in the game, camera takes you to a different perspective, and you see your original suit possessed by the parasite, sort of arriving in the station and fucking shit up. And the way they sort of present this boss is that all of your allies and the advice that's given to you is, if you see this boss, you see this enemy, run the other way. You cannot beat it, you cannot fight it, you will fucking die. And if you try and fight it, you die. And so they'll sort of... And they have this really, really good way of freaking you out with it, because all the sound effects for that is made by the movement or by the weapons of the boss are made by you as well, because you're essentially the same character. So it does this very good job of freaking you out with your own footsteps, where you're not sure if you're walking yourself. Are you hearing your footsteps, or are you hearing the enemy's footsteps? So it does that very, very excellent job of scaring the fuck out of you and building up this fight that that you're terrified that you can't win, which I think in terms of presentation is absolutely fantastic. The idea of being hunted by something that has gained power exclusively because of your achievements. It's using everything that you grew and built yourself up to against you, which I think was a really, really unique spin on it for a game for a series that I didn't think had been pushing the narrative concepts and psychological concept particularly heavily until that point. I am out of tea. Fuck.
No more tea. It's all over, guys.
Speaking of tea, my teapot broke, and I'm very sad because now I think that my coffee machine broke, and I'm falling apart here, guys.
All the things.
Well, your teapot wouldn't break if you didn't keep putting it in the microwave.
No, my cat knocked it over and it fell.
Another
Yeah, but your
essential
cat's
problem with
probably
cats.
angry at you misusing tea. Make your tea in a kettle. What is with you Americans? Kettles are there. Kettles are your friends, guys. They are your friends. They love you. They want to be in your house and make you good tea.
That's what coffee pods are for making coffee and not tea.
So, no, every time I make tea, I make it a point to put it in the microwave and take a video of it and say, fuck you, Vermont.
Yeah.
And then send it to us.
I have received multiple video messages of Neil heating up tea in a microwave and pulling a middle finger at the microwave.
That's
and
good.
Neil can go die. Neil can go stand in an eternal queue.
In an eternal queue.
Yeah. You're just going to stand in a queue. No. A dentist's waiting room. That is your fate.
Oh, that's a good one. And you have to get like a root canal or something?
Yeah.
But
You
it's
have to-
fine because I won't have to actually get that root canal because the line will never end. So.
Yeah, but you're going to be so bored. Have you ever been like you're going to sit there, you're going to be bored as hell. You're going to stare at the magazines that you don't want to read because they are from 2 years ago and they are probably about fishing or
It's always the
That's
highlight magazine, but all the puzzles are solved already.
right? Wendy wants to know, when did James become British? Well, I mean,
Vermont's always had an accent, but
Yeah.
it's not British.
exactly.
And my own card! Hello, my love!
Oh my god. Okard, are you here to stay? I would stay for longer
Wait, is
podcasts.
Okard
Okard's here.
Oh,
How
God.
can
Okay,
I not join something without guys realizing? Also, Nino, that was very quick.
That's
well
only a
done.
10G achievement. You're not here for long then.
What's real quick?
She is.
You-
Patrick Bow Wow.
During the call. Also, I'm here to stay because I've finished work and I'm currently sat at home.
Oh my god. Podcast part 2 begins
Like,
now.
I have hopes that know that you're here. I love you.
perfect. So we have Okard here, so James will drop out and go to bed.
But Vermont, I need you. You're my friend.
Patrick Bow Wow.
Oh, it's adorable. But seriously though, I'm exhausted. Now Okard can pick up the slack left by Vermont. Goodbye, guys.
Even though we're going to be finishing up soon.
No, I could go another
Probably.
hour if Okard stays.
What the fuck?
I have coffee. Unlike you. I'm sorry.
Also,
I have coffee too, but it doesn't. It's.
before Vermont goes, he is a naval person, creator of lesbian ships and emotions. Fuck you.
Yes, I am.
Wait,
Oh,
what?
by the way, so Okard, do your best not to spoil Eternal Secrets Episode 4, since you have seen the script and and made.
I can't remember majority of the script apart from like the bits where I gotta cry.
I was gonna say, wait. What are you talking about? I've seen the script. I had to record for it.
So did I.
I
Yes,
did too.
I have 30 whole seconds. In
So
the
did
story.
I. Actually, yeah, I think all of us voiced in it.
And it's kind of a thing, you know.
I didn't.
It's rare that I do any voice acting myself.
That's changed, though. I mean, it really has changed.
Yeah, I did Commander Chrysanthemum. He had like a solid. Chris had a solid 20 minutes.
Yeah? No, I mean, you had more audio than the original Battered Blade story.
Which would be impressive if it wasn't for the fact that that of the 20 minutes that I had 20 minutes in a 4.5 hour story.
Yeah, it's all relative.
Right. All right, I do
still
actually have to go.
Still
Bye,
don't.
my
Bye.
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 Okay, just us ladies now.
That's us a lady now.
Emmy.
So Skybolt is now a lady.
Fembolt for the
Oh
podcast.
yeah, he's always been a lady. Why
gotta
do you think I made Fembolt?
Yeah, let me find the art now. It's somewhere here.
Oh, Kurt, I love you and I've missed you.
Oh, I'm sorry, babe.
My life has been falling apart since I've been only having to deal with Skybolt.
What do you mean? You had all James last week.
True, and that was some of the best podcasting we've had. It was a total shit show.
It was.
The background art was fabulous. It really was.
Yeah, I like the precedent. That way you know when it's a Skybolt free podcast. You have crazy art.
Everybody just start posting butts.
Yeah. Quick devolution. So,
yes, it is on.
I can't wait to catch up on this one.
I did say if we got to 1.6, I would do a free floppy plush, but we didn't end up getting to 1.6.
Sad times. Sad times. So, Oakheart, how are things with you? Anything new in Magic Land?
Everything is chaotic.
Oh my god. How so?
I have multiple YouTube projects. I'm doing 2 jobs. College starts tomorrow.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
And I'm single.
Oh
no, what happened?
It's a long story, and I don't really want to get into it.
That's fine. It just means that I have more for me.
The needle heart ship is still a thing, I believe.
I was gonna say there's lots of love in the studio, absolutely.
And terminal secrets.
If you need to talk about it, Oakheart, you can message me about it and we can talk, okay?
Thank you, but it has been fully sorted. We
Okay.
ended up on a mutual agreement.
That's fair, as long as it wasn't a bad breakup. That's fair.
Yeah,
It was a mutual one, so we didn't end on a bad foot, but the result wasn't great either, because we ended up breaking up, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's for the best, though. I know most of breakups I've had are because it's like you can see the end coming, so it's like you both get out of the car before the car goes over the cliff kind of thing. That's usually that's the best way. You let the car crash itself.
That's a very bad representation of ship there, Skybolt, but...
Well, yeah,
okay,
but
then.
I mean, there's no metaphor for a ship going off a cliff. I guess maybe a waterfall. You're in the river of life, and the ship's about to go off the waterfall, so you both get off on opposite sides of the shore and just go your separate ways. There you go. There's your analogy.
That's a better one. Also, you're really, really going to dislike my subscriber count.
Oh my god. You already said it was over 2,000. You have bragged already.
No, it's no longer 2,000.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Scratchy said something to you, Oakheart,
Oh my god.
in the chat.
I'm not looking at the chat. What did it say?
It says, cheer up, Oak. You want some free cute art to cheer you up?
Oh my god. If you want to draw me art, you are more than welcome to.
Oh wait, Oakhart's in the podcast now, so I can activate. Bam. Okay. Oakhart's in the podcast.
Okay. My current subscriber count is 3.6.
How the hell do you keep getting more? Like, what do you do?
What do you do?
It's my channel to find out. Not that hard.
Yay! That's the best Oakheart picture!
Oh, I know. No, this is my favorite for sure.
Wait, what?
I have it ready so that then whenever she randomly pops in a podcast, I can just turn it on.
The
one who looks like she's gonna touch Stitch's booty.
Give me the booty. What? How did that song go now?
Swiggity swooty, gonna touch that booty.
Swiggity swiggity, I'm here for the booty. Or whatever.
You can touch my patch butt all you want, babe.
I subscribe to Oakheart because she voices my EAST Corp waifu, but...
I know. No, Amber is pretty waifu to you.
Wow, okay, I see how it is. I'm not a waifu. Wow.
I just love how you
Everyone already loves Derpy. That's easy.
I'm looking at the chat now. And Samuel, it was always shipping time.
It is always shipping time at EAST Corp. We specifically engineer waifus with a high degree of precision.
It's been a running joke that Oak and I are shipped. So
ever since the Valentine's Day podcast, we'll never get away from that. I mean, it's natural.
You're the
Right.
one that
Oh.
it up.
what?
I
What did you say?
Well, Skybot's the one that keeps bringing it up, so of course we're never going to get away from it.
Okay,
You brought
Sky,
it up this
I'll
podcast.
I'm gonna send you a message. So just pay attention to what I'm doing.
Oh my god.
Where there you are. There you
Also, why did you just randomly lay me over Vermont?
Oh, because he's gone. So you know, it's like you burned him up, and now you came out of the portal, and now it's just you instead.
There. I sent you the message.
Okay, I'm gonna reload Skype.
Skybolt likes that idea.
I'm excited if that works out. Yeah, no, it's I'm actually to few surprise. I'm very happy with how the Ice Mare turned out because now Freezy's waifu tier.
Sent the message.
Yes.
Where?
Where, guys?
Oh, it's a private message, Oak.
Okay.
Rejected.
Yeah, no, it was a private message about something we were talking about earlier. I think it needs to stay just between
I agree. Yeah.
Vermont and Sky and I for now.
Yeah.
And I will tell you what's going on when things are more solidly planned, okay?
Just a bit more finely tailored.
Yeah.
Hey, telling me shit.
I love you.
Love you too.
And I'll be here to narrate the whole thing. No, what's funny about Confessions too is like overall right now we're barely at like 150,000 words. Like, all these other major FOE stories, including the original, are like scraping 600 plus, 1 million, 2.5 million freaking Project Horizons. It's like Confessions really isn't that long.
That is Project Horizons.
What now?
I said the ridiculous that is Project Horizons.
Dude, no kidding. Like when I made the 99 Problems song, it was not a fluke, but it's like I'd been invited to do a song for that one support album for, I think it was like Sombra getting into a con or something, and I'm like, all right, this is whatever. And then instantly it became like my most popular song for a while. It's still top 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Oh man, that worked out.
I really liked Facing the Fallout.
I'm glad, yeah. No, that was a great way to break into the community. I was really happy with how that turned out.
I actually knew about Facing the Fallout before I even knew about the original. I thought it was an original song.
Oh, nice!
Until I started playing it to my friends.
Yeah, no, that's what I tried to make it, was like almost like a musical promo for the story, because of course by that point I was already hopelessly addicted. So it's a great way for things to come.
So, you guys want to know a sad fact?
Uh-oh.
Despite voicing both Little Pip and Blackjack, I have never finished Project Horizons, nor have I finished Fallout Equestria.
Yeah.
I've not actually finished Fallout Equestria, and I haven't even begun Project Horizons.
I would not suggest getting into Project Horizons if you're squeamish. It can get very detailed.
Project Horizons, yeah, it is a whole nother level of hardcore over the original. Fallout Equestria has some potty mouth, but in terms of actual graphicness, it actually floats closer to PG-13. I would say. Modern version PG-13.
Well, yeah, I can stand Fallout Equestria. It's just lengthy.
Or Peggy 16 for those of our friends in Europe. Peggy 18. I always like that voice. Yeah, no. Project Horizons, I only got through, I think, 3 chapters, and then for various reasons, I couldn't do it anymore. But, yeah, I feel like Fallout Equestria is, it's kind of a big deal. Craze Rambling audiobook, that's a good way for, obviously our fans are very audiobook oriented because that's what.
Yeah.
But it's not essential. You know, we're essential. That's as long as you listen to all our productions, that's what matters.
I liked Craze Rambling when I first like started getting into it, but like now that I'm actually versed in how to record and stuff,
Yeah.
I hear all of the imperfections in Crazed Rambling and I can't stand it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I haven't gone back to him for a while either, and I'm sure it would bother me. Actually, one audiobook, and I got to go check in on see what updates there are on this old story too, is Forrest Rain did sort of an audio reading of the Upheaval fan fiction, and that's actually a really good story too. I haven't caught up on if he ever finished that or if the story ever finished itself, but that was really neat, and he did a good job with that.
I think that also updated today.
Did it really? Oh, good. I'm hoping they finish it. I love that story. It's been ages since I've listened to that, actually.
It's been a while.
Chapter 29, Upheaval Reckoning.
Yeah, we're still in Reckoning. Nice. I'm excited. That's going to be great. I did read ahead a bit beyond the audiobook when he was still making them, so yeah. What's a good way to describe Reckoning? I'd almost call Upheaval's like the Game of Thrones of horror stories in some ways. It's very like medieval and kind of cool. You got like knights and stuff and forts and yeah, if you're into that sort of thing. Actually, there's a song parody I've been wanting to do of it for a while, and maybe I'll dig it back out again. So that might happen. That's something I really should finish, because that was one of the earliest parodies. When I was writing Facing the Fallout, actually, I was also writing this parody, but then I never actually finished it. So that's that's kind of a blast from the past.
Gets put on the back burner for like half a decade.
Oh, it happens with some of the songs. Like, what was it? The Name of Strife song, my first Discord song. I started writing that in like February, and then finally finished it in September or October, whenever it came out. It might have been even November. So it happens with a lot of songs. Same with like the Humbling River, the Dashite song. And I started work on that like 2 years before we actually got it out. So it's usually whenever I get an idea, like I'll like put a note or create a little folder and be like, this is something that might be fun. And then whenever like something comes up that makes it like time pertinent or relevant for whatever reason, then I usually like rush it out and get it done. So
I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go get some food. My tummy's making the rumblies.
Do it. Yeah, I'm gonna go get lunch sometime after this, but we can make the podcast go a little bit longer. Talk to our friends in the Foggy Isles.
After this is done, I'm gonna probably go out and make some tacos.
Do it. Yeah, I gotta go to the store, so it's like I'd like to stop and get some kind of food, but it's like most likely I'll just pick up some kind of like quick lunch dinner thing from the store. I always have weird schedules on weekends.
Oh yeah, I have it really bad all the time too, because I got college classes that go from 9 in the morning to 9:30 at night. It's a mess.
Oh, I know. I remember those days. It's like then you fit in homework and stuff somewhere, and then of course like fun and free time, and so it's always like I feel like as soon as you enter college and the free formness of college, like your schedule kind of gets like fucked for life for a long time. I think in general, like, yeah, I don't think there's much consistency in modern life with schedules and stuff. Everything's very, very free form.
Yep, and it's been quite an adventure. I'm almost done with my tenure in the what they call the early college program.
Nice. Yeah, it's it's a lot. I'm trying to remember what the heck else was I just gonna say. Oh, fudge. Oh, like yesterday. I basically only had like one meal yesterday because I was on this like marathon writing spree for Terminal Secrets 5, which was great because we had our production meeting, so it was all fresh. And so I was like cycling back through all the Fallout soundtracks and also the old other Fallout Equestria like score music, like our Balefire Symphony and the Dr. Dissident stuff. So because I was on such good spree like that, you don't want to interrupt it. So it's like I stopped for lunch, and then it turned out like 3 hours of stoppage, and then I got back into it, and then just went through the night, and then straight to bed. I didn't even have dinner. So it's that's how writing is, at least for me. It's like you do these big marathon sessions and make leaps and bounds, and then the little methodical things are really just for cleaning up.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's kind of hard to find your inspiration at times, and when you do, you really just really gotta go.
Exactly, because that's the hardest part. Is like you want the perfect thing of having inspiration and energy, but it almost never coincides. So usually, when you get the inspiration, that's when you have to power through it, no matter how you feel. So, oh man,
right. When I was I wrote sort of like a fan fiction-y history book back a while ago. Nice. For a fictional universe, and it was like a few weeks that I would have every like few months or so that I'd have the inspiration to keep moving forward with it, and eventually I got it mostly done. I just got to find some editors for it before I want to like publicly post it or anything.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's always the hard part, is then, like, being happy with it, ultimately. It's,
okay, it has been acquired.
Okay, good stuff. Yeah, no, writing, it's funny. Writing is something I never actually, like, ever thought about getting into at all. Like, my dad did some, like, freeform writing over the years, but nothing ever published worthy. But, yeah, it was actually in college. I had to take an English class because GE's freaking stupid, and the professor had a policy of like we do like just one page of anything to start out the class every day, write something, and so then like halfway through the semester, I started stringing them together into one kind of story, and yeah, that really got me inspired, and I started doing more like loose writing over the years, and then eventually with Confessions, I just committed to something for the first episode, and luckily it worked out. God,
back in
yeah.
Back in middle school, I always wrote these really cringeworthy fan fictions that are still online in some places. But that's what really got me started into writing, and so I actually won first place in my writing contest at my community college.
Nice.
For writing a fan
fiction. Not a fan fiction. It was a short story about some people calmly accepting the apocalypse.
Ooh, I like that.
So like the stages of grief.
It was more like as the city around them was collapsing into war, they just like slowly made their way down the street, kind of ignoring it, to a ball, and sort of just had a last little party before the world ended and the bombs fell.
So yeah, the stages of grief.
You know what's a great book, if you like that sort of thing, is this old Cold War novel called On the Beach that I talked about, I think, like, few months ago when I finished it. And it's like all these people in Australia that are essentially waiting for, like, the thick, like, Cobalt 60 fallout cloud to finally reach them. They're just chilling, and they're like, oh, yeah, Darwin's gone, and oh, yeah, there goes Brisbane. And they're, like, sitting in Melbourne. Brisbane, whatever, and they're sitting in Melbourne and waiting for it. It's a very cool existential novel, and they have like there's like a U.S. submarine in it, so they like make one last attempt and some other story things. But yeah, it's very an interesting like capsule of the Cold War mindset, sort of the impending doom, better than I think a lot of modern interpretations can pick up, because this was written in '59, so it's like peak Cold War.
Yeah, I downloaded it at one point and was going to read it, but I never really got to it.
It is a bit long. Like, it's, it's sort of a different age of writing from, much more poppy, modern stuff now. But I liked it, and it was a good book. So I'm always
what I read
the
for
next novel.
what I read for an English class was Alas Babylon. That was a really good book.
Ooh, I haven't gotten to that. I should look into that.
It's like a 50s neighborhood that survives the nuclear war, and you can slowly see how civilization is going to progress. It's how I'd like to imagine some of the communities in Fallout acted, except with less government that survived.
I always thought that would be neat too, like a Fallout where it's set like 1 year after the bombs fell, or like more directly, and you see like the first settling of everything like coming together. I thought that would be a really neat like setting for the game, because I think even Fallout 1 is set like 70 years after the war. It's pretty far out, like a good generation or two that's been in Vault 13 and have no knowledge of the outside world.
Yeah, but like in all reality, if you think about it, there would be nothing above a year after, because the radioactivity levels would still be too high.
Yeah, it depends on how it'd be written and acted out, but it would be neat. I don't know. We'll see what they do down the road. I don't think, honestly, Bethesda might even touch Fallout again. I think it'll end up getting shoveled to another company, because it sounds like they have no plans for the next 7 years of anything Fallout. I just want Obsidian to take it for good and to make good games, because they have good writers. Just ZeniMax buy them out and have them make New Vegas too.
Yeah, definitely. I draw a lot of similarities to Fallout New Vegas' development story, and even some of the plot, to Knights of the Old Republic 2, which was also made by Obsidian.
Yes.
Because both games were more or less rushed to the end, and had some problems with the game itself, like a lot of glitches and stuff. But the more or less the difference is that we live in an age of like patches and stuff, and so they were able to fix it in updates. New Vegas, that is.
Oh yeah.
As compared just to throw shit out, and then it's like, oh, we fucked it up. We just patch.
Yeah, it's like kind of. It's a double-edged sword. I remember after Dead Money came out, when it made Eddie like hate me. Like, I got back from Dead Money, and it's like, oh, you gotta go find your companions again. And I'm like, hi, Eddie, and he's like starts shooting at me. I'm like, damn it. It's like, so the first time I had to kill him because he kept following me, and then you reload, and you're like, okay, just gotta avoid Prim until they fix this at some point. And then I think it wasn't until a patch like 4 months later in like April when finally they did patch it. I think I went back to
recently. Recently, like you said you were doing, I went back to New Vegas and did a playthrough with my friend, and we both jumped into level 1 Lonesome Road survival stuff. And we sort of built our characters around that and played like the rest of the game like that.
Nice. Yeah, I did hardcore mode for, I think it was my third playthrough of New Vegas, and it was definitely interesting, just like kind of trudging your way through the end. Like, it really definitely changes the whole essential, like, how you play the game. And I haven't even tried survival mode for Fallout 4 yet because of it, because it's hard. For me, it's beyond what I usually like in a game, which is a little bit too methodical, too plotting, where it's not fun anymore.
Right. What I really love to do in Fallout games is just to create characters and run with them. It's not about like the challenge or anything. It's about philosophy and personalities to me.
Yeah, that's still something I might load up separate on New Vegas. Is I heard one friend at a con, he was telling me about his caveman playthrough, where it's like right off the bat in the game, he like set it at like 10 strength and 10 endurance, but like 1 intelligence or something. And it was really fascinating because it like anything below 3 intelligence closes off a lot of dialogue options for you. So it's a really different way to play the game. And I've always wanted to see how it goes, like what it's like. And it's very like melee oriented and unarmed oriented because you're playing a caveman. So
Yeah, definitely. I've wanted to do a really low intelligence run as well because I've heard that it's really interesting the way that it changes the dialogue system.
So I got to check that out at some point, or I guess more accurately, you could call it like a Super Mutant Light playthrough. So yeah, that would
maybe
be
once I get my my new computer, I'll do a live stream of like a caveman mode.
A derpy caveman would be even better. We
don't know what's going on here. Oh look, it's the Wasteland Survival Guide. I don't remember writing this one though.
Yeah, I know, with the frickin' repellent stick. I always thought that was so dumb. It's like, why would I carry this around just for mole rats? It's like, I'm going to blow the mole rats away with my bloody mess of a shotgun.
But which Fallout should I play is the question.
No, I agree. We could do well doing voice character playthroughs. That would be a whole new community we could reach into.
I've been wanting to do that for a while. My computer just can't run it. Like my laptop.
Yeah.
However, I started doing this thing where I do peer therapy for other people. Like, I sit and I talk to them, and they tell me their feelings and stuff, and I help them through their issues. And I get paid using Amazon gift cards.
Oh, wow.
So I have been using the Amazon gift cards in order to be able to start saving for computer parts. That way it's not really coming out of my pocket. I'm just sitting and talking to people.
Yeah, Amazon, that's usually what I tell people when they're like, some generic person like, what do you want for your birthday or whatever? I'm
Amazon
like,
gift cards.
Yeah, just give me an Amazon. I'll put it toward music or objects or literally anything these days. That's good.
You can buy plain gift cards, like airline gift cards on Amazon.
That's true. Yeah.
So like I'm trying to go to Disney for my birthday. And my mom is nice enough to send me a Disney ticket gift card for Christmas. And then the rest of my family is sending me like little Disneyland gift cards that help cover, food and stuff inside the park. Or like just little things that I want to buy. So all I really need to do is buy the airline ticket. So I'm going to be using the Amazon gift cards in order to be able to buy the airline ticket. And then also pay for hotel, because you can buy hotel gift cards.
Yeah, no, it can really all come together in just those.
The only thing that I can't do is get cash from it. I mean, I guess I could put it on a Visa card, but you can't really pull the Visa card, and so like I need to be able to pay rent.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things where it's like people don't want to give like just direct cash, even though sometimes that would be probably the most advantageous. But it's like it doesn't feel like a gift at that point. Then it almost feels like just I don't know. It's all in the psychology, but it's interesting how that works.
I think the only time that I ever got an Amazon gift card that I didn't buy for myself to get on Amazon was when Zemming actually gave me a gift after I went over to his place to help him pack out the Fallout Equestria books.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was a heck of a time. I didn't know that the print project was so close, and I guess that means that I also got like I was the first person to get their copy of the third printing.
Yeah, I kind of wish I would have gotten in on the third printing, but it's like I went through a lot of effort to get in on the second printing, and I got those books, and I'm like, it's not really much point, because it's mostly a decoration. I'm not actually reading the physical book, but it seems like they did put more design into the outside of the third printing, and it's all only one book rather than 5 or 2. Right,
definitely. And not to mention, Hobbs Maxwell's illustrations for every chapter.
Oh, neat. No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, every chapter in the story has its own illustration based on what happened in it, and it was by Hobbs Maxwell, or Boiler3 is his Tumblr handle.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I remember back in the day, all the big like Fallout Equestria artists were like Omega Ridley and Brizinio. I remember like when we got Brizinio's logo to use for Stable Tech, and then they kept having this like existential crisis, like, all right, do we have permission to use this? And it's like, yeah, he hasn't said anything to us, and we asked him at the beginning. We just don't talk to him on the reg, you know. So that was funny.
Blah.
So,
Okay, silence. Is there anything else?
I don't know. Anything else you wanted to talk about, Derek or Oakheart, while you're here?
I think that pretty much covers it.
Okay.
I think she's dead.
Oh no, my Oakheart died.
Oh.
We'll go out on taps. That's probably for the best. I'm getting hungry anyway. But, yeah, thank you guys for joining us and for another fun podcast. And, yeah, I'll be gone next week so that you guys can do whatever and stuff. And I guess I'll be back.
Another shit show.
yeah, I'll show up again at some point. I have one of my stupid business trips keeps getting shifted around. So it's like the time keeps changing on me, which is why I was here for this Sunday. So who knows what'll happen. It's all fucked.
But yeah, if you're ever in like near my area, even if it's Vancouver, because I can get to Vancouver relatively easily, let me know. We'll go get lunch.
No, absolutely. We'll get lunch at the very least, and we'll hang out. That'd be fun.
I'll show you some of the crazy parts of Portland.
I can show you the Portland.
We'll do a little Stitch and Sky blog.
Oh my god, that would be fun.
Oh my god.
Okay. All right, so if that's it from the chat as well, we love you guys. I'm going to talk to you more later on, okay? And